Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Sorry, I feel like I am the cause of the leak.
No, it's okay.
Don't be sorry, just be quiet.
It's Noah's fault.
Yeah, let's blame my 3-year-old. More of that.
3?
How?
Yeah, you didn't know. 3.5, actually, next month.
No, he's not.
Jesus.
I'm at the point where I just stop knowing my friends' ages and I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, do you know how old I am?
Yeah.
Don't even ask.
32.
I do.
You're easy.
Thank you.
I'll be 32 Friday.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the wee baby.
I thought you were like...
Ken, I thought you were older than that.
Wee little baby.
No.
The wee baby turned 32.
Where's your mommy?
Where's your mom?
Does everyone have time? Please just do that voice the rest of the time.
Yes, I do.
And
Okay,
I've been recording too, so.
Okay.
Sorry if this makes it harder for you, Delaney.
We love you, Delaney.
We love you, Delaney. This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 839 for the week of Monday, October 21st, 2024. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And on today's episode of the podcast, we have our contributor known for the Yaoi Thunderdome, amongst many other staples of the One Piece Podcast, which we'll talk about more in a minute. We have Vero with us. How's it going, Vero?
It's great. I'm ready to talk about Nami.
Yeah, just Nami.
Just week. Nami. Nobody else. Nothing else happened. Just
Nami.
Nami.
You have tunnel vision through the chapter and only seeing the panels with Nami. Mm-hmm. Not even the panels, just the Nami's face.
Yeah, the sketches, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you've been portrayed on any anime special this week. We also have storyboard artist Mike Patten once again joins us while taking a sip of water.
Hey, I was taking a big sip.
You're taking a gulp of water.
I didn't know I was going to be next. That's fine. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, that's my fault. I did it at exactly the spit take moment. And last but not least, we have Ken O'Connor joining us once again. How's it going, Ken?
Hey, guys. Good to be back.
Yeah, so this is the cozy...
Anime enthusiast, Ken O'Connor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've been featured on the Anime Recap a lot recently.
Yep.
Yeah, no, so this is our cozy roundtable discussion about One Piece where we sit in front of a fireplace or something and talk about One Piece. Since all of you are very repeat guests.
This could be your Yule log for the holidays. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're starting to advertise it now.
Us talking over each other and trying to say the most Simpsons reference of Simpsons references.
The only One Piece Yule log that I accept is a Burning Mary.
I was about to say, do you think that they've had a Yule log channel that's just that image?
No, it should be the whole thing.
They should make it. We should make it. I'm learning how to make 24/7 channels. Maybe we can make.
Oh yeah, I still want to do that.
Yule log.
Yeah.
I think Alex has the Mary I don't want to say toy because it's $500 and some crap, and I think you could reassemble it so it's broken. And maybe if we just film it correctly, or just light it on fire, and then that
put
way
a fire in the background. Yeah,
I'll paper mache a Mary, and we can.
Yeah, but then we're missing.
And that way we can monetize it. We can monetize it and think of all the money we'll. Oh, times are tough.
But we're inflation, as we'll talk about in this chapter.
Yeah.
But we won't have the egg tears if you do that. Luffy's gigantic yolk tears that come off his face. It's gross. Well, anyway, you know what I'm talking. Yeah. Anyway,
we're gonna be talking about at home.
That's true. We can figure this out. Anyway, can we please talk about? We please talk about this and not whatever the hell
what's
I
the
was
news,
saying
Zach?
just now. We're going to be going through chapter 1130 today, but first, there's lots of big news happening. No one has an X on their arm except for Steve, who does have an X on his arm. And Ken? Ken, do you have one? No, Ken doesn't have one. Sorry, Ken. First, the big news. The 25th anniversary of the anime was this past weekend. It premiered, I think it was October 17th or 18th, 1999. What were you all doing in October 1999? Vero, specifically.
I was in preschool.
I was in 6th grade, I think.
I was turning 7.
Grade.
I was 10.
I was putting a lot of gel in my hair.
You were born in the
yeah, me
80s?
too.
Me too.
You're old.
Probably getting ready for Halloween.
Steve, you weren't even shaving your head yet.
Ken wasn't born in the 80s.
Should have started.
Right? Yeah, Ken is
I
in
was,
the
I was
80s.
born
No,
92.
Ken is a wee baby.
Oh, don't bring this up already.
Baby Ken.
Yeah, happy birthday, Ken.
Thank
You
you.
do, baby.
But,
Yeah.
Ken, you'd be happy to know the anime, even though it's off right now, it does return next March. Or April. So don't worry.
So when is that again?
No
A
one
little
knows. It could be at any time. It could be this March. So I also want to talk about the amazing special Ishitani did. We're going to do a full recap with Sam next week, so Sam could collect his thoughts and
I'll have to
emotions.
watch it before then.
You
Yeah,
gotta-
and Ed's going to watch it. I actually had time today to watch it.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Vero, I know you have emotions if you want to about it. Yeah,
I always have
I taught
emotions.
the Yiddish word kvel, which means to fangirl.
To fangirl,
in
yes.
ancient Yiddish. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched the One Piece fan letter episode, turn this shit off and go watch it. I don't care if you're driving to work. Go put it on.
How dare you call this shit?
It's more important. No, it was just absolutely beautiful. I feel like anytime Ishitani touches One Piece, she makes gold. My roommates and I all watched it together basically immediately as it dropped last night, which we never do. I don't really watch the anime that much at all, and whatever. But we watched it. We laughed. We cried. We cheered like little seals. You know. Clapping every time exactly every time a little or a special character was on screen. It was really great, and we cried a lot more.
What was the tagline from Wayne's World? You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll spew.
That's exactly what we did. And the credits rolled and it ended, and I looked at my roommate and I said, "Hey, put that shit back on. Turn it on again." And we watched it again.
Yeah, I might watch it again tonight.
Mhm.
I was really hoping we'd get around to talking about it on this episode, but technical difficulties.
It's
Where can
okay.
I watch it?
There are
Crunchyroll.
technical difficulties.
Crunchyroll.
It's-
Is it only on
Crunchyroll,
Yeah,
Netflix. No, probably like
No.
wherever it's
Is
streaming.
it? Oh, I forgot it's on Netflix now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever you acquire your
Your One Piece.
I don't have
Pieces,
Crunchyroll
yeah.
anymore, so I got to figure out like where
Yeah.
I'm gonna be replacing.
I don't want
borrow
to talk
mine,
too
Mike.
much about it because I don't want to take up a bunch of time. But speaking of One Piece, the puzzle piece metaphor, her mind. Ishitani is just so amazing when it comes to like her visual metaphors and like her cuts, and I don't know all the technical terms. I don't, but just so many moments that make you go, "Wow, holy shit!" and pause and rewind and rewatch it. So
Maybe she's too good for us.
Yeah.
the
I
only
think that's
thing was I kind of wished it was a movie, 30 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm happy, whatever. But I was like, damn, this could have been like, if this was a movie we had gotten, it would have like been the best one we're ever going to get, I think. But as a special,
It gets so much information across within 23 minutes. It's insane
Absolutely.
how
Mhm.
economic it is with its time.
Yes.
It's the blessing and curse of Ishitani is that I was talking about this with Steven, I think, in our Discord, is she is so amazingly talented and clearly such a fan of the series and is able to put in so many details. It's that it gets dizzying in how amazing it is that I feel like I need to sit there and go screen by screen, which is kind of what I did for us. Like, just every single shot is so good. that I guess I kind of agree with Vero here, is that the problem is that it's 23 minutes, which I guess isn't a problem generally, but it's that it feels so frenetic at times, and you want to absorb all. It's like when you have a really good meal and you accidentally just shove it in your face and eat it all at once, and you're like, oh shit, I should have slowed down and eaten that, at a good pace. That's what this specifically felt like. I don't want it to sound like an insult, because it isn't. It's just like, I wish she took her time a little bit more.
She's able to, like, they're able to put so much in at once, and it worked. Like, at no point was I like, oh, I feel like the pacing is off. I like that it's so
she's good with the frenetic
bam bam bam, like,
yeah.
Scene after scene, you don't catch your breath, because I feel like it works for this, because like the little girl who doesn't get no name, but the little main character doesn't have a second to breathe in her like quest to see Nami, and it's
well, she was depressed for a half hour.
She was depressed for half, and you know what?
She's just like me for real.
The 3 p.m. depressive EPs. Yep.
Yeah,
she's
we all
like,
get that.
No,
Corona follows all of us around all the time.
Yes.
But
no, it was very, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
damn if they're like, oh, we gotta bring Ace up. And I thought that was funny. But
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was just gonna say the only drawback with the frenetic pace, and then I'll stop talking after this, is that if you're introducing it to a new fan, like, I feel like this could work for a new fan.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think you need to know what's going on. But the Marineford stuff at the beginning is specifically like what I'm talking about. It's like, if you don't know what the context is, it's dizzying.
Sure.
I think the rest of it, it's really just the beginning. I think as a fan, when you know what's going on, you're like, oh, I know what's happening here.
But I liked how intense and fast, and like I almost couldn't recognize what was going on the screen in Marineford, because I felt like I was one of the Marines that was
I think that was the intent.
And lost. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, maybe I'm just projecting into this supposed person who's never seen One Piece and is watching this. But that's what was going through my mind.
Sure.
But I think the thing that surprised me most is how well written it was. It's like a very good story. And
Wasn't
I
it
haven't
based
read
off of like one of Oda's short stories or something?
I think someone else wrote it, but the story is inspired by, I think Oda came up with the story generally, but it's
sure.
It's very good. That part, I knew it was going to look beautiful, and everyone did say
it's like with the movies where Oda comes up with the ideas but doesn't write the screenplay.
Yeah, I think for like the law novel and
the films,
and the other novels, I think that's what it was. It was like that as well. The Ace novel, sorry. Any other like quick thoughts, because we're going to do an in-depth. There's no chapter next week, so we will definitely have time.
Yeah, I was on the app this morning and it said One Piece will return in 21 days. I'm like, oh shit.
That's too far.
We could talk about that now. So he's taking 2 weeks off, according to ANN, for research purposes. He's got to read some Norse mythology.
He's going to go watch Vicky the Viking again.
He's playing God of War.
Yeah, that's
Come play Elden Ring with me.
Yeah,
wow,
come on.
I've got something
to play Elden Ring with Vero.
The chapter. I have something in the chapter to say about Elden Ring.
Yes,
okay.
Bring it to me.
Oh, I thought there was something about Elden Ring that grinded your gears or something.
No, I love it. It's a great game. I want to play the DLC.
So next week we're going to go through volume. We're going to go through I think we're going to have the SGS next week. In addition, as we said, to fan letters. So lots of really good content. Don't miss out. And then the following week, if everything times out right, we will do our volume 110 SBS recap. So story time with Steven. I ordered those. Yes, inflation's been great for the prices because Japan is much worse with that. And also the yen is terrible, but at the same time, the shipping did cost way more than the actual book. Which is always fun.
Like every time.
That's what it's like every time. Yeah. But still not terrible. Only like $30 if you want. I don't remember. Anyway, so looking forward to doing volume 110. speaking of, the cover sketches and the sketch video has come out as of us recording. Steve, did you get a chance to
what?
To look at the cover stuff?
Nothing about it really jumped out at me. It's cool. I'm always fascinated by the stuff that gets left on the drawing table, like the bunch of sketches. Like this one sells it just fine. I kind of liked the motif of like at first it was Vegapunk with like the fingers interlaced like he was doing his broadcast. But I could tell like Oda then like drew like a Gear 5th Luffy in there. It's like, oh, I already did that on another cover recently. So it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's not really like one of my favorites. But I do like that Bonnie gets a spot on there. But yeah, it's cool. I like how purple
of course
Saturn is, yeah.
I like the one where he had all the elders like fully transformed. Like he ended up going with just Saturn, which is cool, but now the other 4 look like Wheel of Fortune like panels in the bottom. Where I like them, they were all fully transformed.
That's around 9 seconds in the video for those who are looking at it, right?
Yes.
Well, you could certainly buy a vowel if you land on one of those,
Yeah.
So we can see a big shot of Brogy's Bruiser X. Bruiser Brogy.
The issue I have with this is that it makes Luffy and Bonnie look like they're the same size as the Giants. Like, I think the Giants, when they showed up in like volume, what is that, 12? Something like that, 13, 14,
okay,
are look like Giants. Here they just look like they're hanging out with Luffy.
Look like Andre Giants.
I don't know. It's a perspective thing, I guess. But I don't know.
I do like that little mock-up color he did with the manga spread with the 5 elders.
Yeah,
they're so colorful. They look like a damn Lisa Frank like Trapper Keeper. I paused because I was making sure I didn't say Anne Frank. I did not. Thank you, Ed. But they're so colorful. It's funny looking. Though I imagine Marcus Mars like looking that color. But now that we also see Saturn color, he's got those big fluffy puppy ears.
Do we see like pink sparkly Marcus Mars with a unicorn horn?
Yeah, he's very, very pink. Yeah.
Do we think he's actually purple? Like, do you think that's?
Are you talking about
coloring,
Saturn?
or?
Are you talking about Saturn?
Wait, no,
did I say Mercury that
Saturn,
time?
No,
Saturn
you said
is the bald
Mars.
guy with who's the horse.
Mars is the bird. I knew who I was talking about.
Saturn, the spider. We're not talking about the spider?
Well, Mars can be a Pegasus.
I'm back to talking about Saturn. I mentioned Mars before because
this is an Abbott and Costello routine, I'm pretty sure.
What are we talking about?
They already got the stupid. They already got the. They already got the
Lisa Frank
stupidest
versions
names
of the elders.
Don't tempt me to take over and do the image tonight. No, like Ken, to answer your question, like these are kind of just like placement colors. Like I don't think it's going to be this vibrant.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because also like Dory, like his cloak wasn't that purple. So, but I don't know. Who knows? I'm not writing the damn thing.
Why not? Yeah. Any other thoughts on the cover? We're definitely going to talk about it more when it comes out and we have a final version, which again, if you're listening to this, is probably already out because that's usually our luck with these things. There was one other thing podcast related that I want to mention. For those who listen to our SGS episodes of the podcast, you might know that Greg has been writing a 70, 80 page treatise about the end of One Piece and the timeline and the decision making and why Oda says certain dates again and again, like Lucy with the football, the Shirley Brown reference, or Peanuts reference. And so happy to announce that exclusively on OnePiecePodcast.com, you could check out Greg's treatise in, I think, at least a bunch of, I don't know how many parts. You could read it. You could download the PDF if you want. It is just Greg's unfiltered article. I'm not putting any constraints or anything. Like, it's all Greg. So please check that out if you haven't. It's called The End of One Piece, and he wanted it to look very, what was it? Like goth, like 90s, like, oh, it's super serious, but obviously not. I don't know, like, you know, back in the 90s when you were on the internet and Zanga
and we were goth and serious.
Yeah. All teenagers are goth and serious.
Mm-hmm.
Just thank you.
We went to the diner and only drink coffee.
We do that. So check that out. OnePiecePodcast.com. Lots of other stuff on that site. Please also subscribe at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. We have the great Mike Patten doing the image this week, and I'm very excited to see all the sketches and stuff. But you could check that out right now as you're listening. Again, just subscribe. It's only $5 a month at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. And I know there's no manga, but we have lots of good stuff, as we mentioned, over the coming weeks, so please tune in. That'll do it for the introduction. Let's talk about the manga.
If you are listening to this One Piece podcast, here's another podcast you might want to know about. My name is Tara Sands. I'm a voice actor from shows like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Shaman King. And I host a podcast along with Steve Yurko called 4Kids Flashback, where we do a deep dive into the company that brought these shows to English-speaking audiences. And we even go behind the controversial One Piece dub. We have amazing guests, lots of actors you know, like Eric Stewart, Veronica Taylor, Dan Green, David Moo is coming up, Kerry Williams, people from One Piece that you might have not heard a lot of interviews with before. We also have interviews with behind-the-scenes people like Norman Grosfeld, the president of 4Kids, people from the licensing department, the editors, the music people, the One Piece rapper, Sean Conrad. Don't miss his episode. So if you want to learn more, go to 4kidsflashback.com. That's the number 4kidsflashback, available on all podcast platforms. Thanks.
This is the manga recap for chapter 1130, The Accursed Prince. You can read this chapter and all chapters as soon as they come out at shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. But before we get into all this Yamato business, Ken, let's first talk about some author comments. Ed, do you have Oda's author comment?
Yes, I do. I've got here. He says, to relax after finishing the chapter, I started watching the morning drama show Omusubi. I love their catchphrase, Taberi. It's so cheerful.
Cool. At least Oda's relaxing. I guess.
Ed, he's got time to watch TV.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He's researching.
He's being cheerful.
Yeah, he's researching. Yeah. He's watching 90s dramas.
Sure.
90s sitcoms. Ed, what's going on the cover page here?
Sure, it's Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest, Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 17. Sword got stolen during nap time. So we see Yamato asleep here, sprawled out in front of a tree, and a shadowy black hand, which is reaching in and grabs his sword, which kind of looks like it has a scabbard with like a smile design on it.
Guys,
circles.
It's Emu, obviously. No one else is silhouetted like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a good point.
Yeah,
we should have known.
It's an interesting spaghetti-o design on the scabbard there.
I think they've shown it before. Yeah, I think, or the pineapple slices, I think we've also mentioned. Yeah, it's a fun design, I guess. These two are cute, though. And they're just sleeping. I don't think Tama is even that tall compared to Yamato, because Yamato's ginormous.
Yeah.
And Tama's just a little girl. And like a normal-sized little girl. Not
a
30-foot tall little girl.
She looks like she's maybe to his knee, so maybe it does work.
Ken, any thoughts?
Just a very cartoony cover story, like just like the silhouetted hand, just like reaching in, like yoink, I'll be taking this.
Yeah.
And just it goes back to the other cover stories where we have now the sword being stolen, the women being stolen, the carpenter being stolen. So someone's definitely going around collecting items and people around Wano. So it's adding to that story. Just I don't understand the correlation between all the items being stolen yet.
It's not Ushimitsu Kozo.
Yes, it's not Ushimitsu Kozo.
All black hand, cartoony cover story. It could be Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
It feels Looney Tuny. I hear the sound effects of the yoink as like the sword's getting pulled off panel.
You're despicable.
Yamato season.
Damn it, Zach. I was just thinking that.
Vero is not liking any of our jokes tonight, and they're correct. Any other thoughts on this?
I want to take a nap with them. I got the 3 p.m. EPs.
Yeah, what time do you think this is happening is the other. God, I wish I had a nap time, to be fair. Adulthood needs more naps. Mike, Mr. Patten.
Hey,
start us
hello.
off. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let me turn the page. All right, so we start off, and everyone who was left behind on the ship is given a speech to the giants, and Frankie begins. Listen up, warriors of Elbath. This search is over!
What is this, Iron Chef?
I'm not too familiar with Iron Chef. I was, but not enough to.
Well, that's what they say at
now.
the end when they have to stop cooking.
I like when he eats the big
this battle
pepper.
is over.
Oh.
That's all I know about Iron Chef is the pepper gif and then like the parody on Futurama. That's about it.
I had when I was in high school we had to have gym clothes, and my gym shirt was an Iron Chef shirt of him just like eating the pepper. Anyway, the giants react, what? To make a long story short, we searched and we didn't find nothing. But we know they're alive. They're alive and well, so thanks for trying so hard to find them for us. It really warms my heart. And then Brahmin says, yes, let's wait for them in Elbath, where we're all heading for the same place. And Jinbei says, indeed, my shark network didn't turn up anything either. We're just grateful that you went to such lengths to search. And Brooke says, plus, we're out of food. No point to any of this if you all starve in the process. And the giants react, I see. Well, if their own crew says so, they're fine. That seals it. Steer us back to Elbath, boys. Yeah.
That's it. Back to Elbath.
Turning this ship around.
Yeah, and they slap the giants on the back of the head, and the ship bounces. Rah! Let's toast to our safe return. We're out of food and drink, Captain. The giants are just like huge Muppets to me, and I love them for it.
Yeah, it's like a boat full of Sweetums, you know.
Oh my god!
I imagine them all moving in that like skip that he does too.
Mike, I have to
and their
commend
jaws just are just powered by someone's forearms, I guess.
It's like a 3-person puppet.
I was just going to compliment you on your Dorian Progi. Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and Frankie.
Hey, I'm just having fun, baby. And then
no, that's not allowed
Luffy.
here.
That's the spirit of Frankie imbued in you right now.
True.
Let me try this. Yow!
Yes, that's the actor's name.
I hope he's
Ed
doing
said
well.
it. I was gonna. Yeah, I hope he's doing well.
Well, anyway, Luffy and crew break through the walls of the giant's castle, and he shouts, "It's huge! Look at this tree! How many thousands of years old is it?" And the cat scurries away. Meow. And we see just the pure just like beauty of Elbath. It's just such a huge zone. So earlier I was talking about like I like Elden Ring, and this just reminds me of the snowfields where you're like running on all the chains, you know, trying to get to like the giant's fire.
I'm
Like,
not
that's-
there
Oh,
yet.
yes.
Oh,
my
well,
God,
It's
you're,
they were-
okay.
you're gonna have fun.
I just hit hour 90 of my playthrough, and I just got in the capital. So
It's okay. I
We'll
haven't
see.
beaten it yet either. I'm playing as Regis Philbin. But anyway, are they all like this? So big. Is that a mountain? Brr, it's freezing. Look how long this rope bridge is. And then Nami says, "Wait a minute. It's so vast. I feel like I'm getting dizzy just looking at it." And then Usopp goes, "Oh, hide! There are giants coming down the bridge." And we see giants coming down the bridge.
gasp.
Freak. Vero.
And the two giants, that's what me and my roommate look like. We see a very beautiful woman who, first glance I was like, Nami? Decidedly not Nami.
Yeah.
And is she the same one that we saw on that cover story forever
Correct.
ago?
And
She's Big Mama's
actually-
That is
childhood friend.
correct.
Yes, that is correct too.
Yeah, she was on Gerd's cover story.
She was on Gerd's
cover story. Yes,
Yeah.
she was on
Yeah.
cover story 9, chapter 901, and we saw her in the Big Mom flashback back on chapter 866.
Ken
Everyone's
is
favorite little
locked the
ragamuffin.
fuck in. He said, I've got the numbers for you. You just vaguely remember this girl. I
Isn't
know
that
her.
also Goldberg in the background?
Yep,
Goldberg.
the goalie.
Cover story 899 was Goldberg's first appearance.
Ken, do you just
I
have
love
like
it.
statistics ready to go? Oh,
Yeah, I wrote it all
okay.
down.
I love that
All
you're.
right.
I'm
Prepare.
believing that you're pulling this from your mind.
We
Don't-
do not
don't give it
prepare
the
on this
game.
show.
It's from the collab project. I still have all the numbers from when they first appeared. So I have it all-
Wow, he's a professional, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway,
It is.
All right, settle down, Wikipedia brown noser.
somebody did their homework. Anyway,
Yes,
so
Steve.
we see.
I read those books as a child. Wikipedia Brown.
So we've got the beautiful woman says, I'm practicing in my brain how I was going to say this person's name, and I've totally blanked on it. How would you guys pronounce that?
Hyridin?
Hyrule. Thank you.
You
Okay,
mean the
beautiful.
character from Dressrosa?
I forgot. I don't know.
Someone should have done their homework.
You guys are so mean to me. I haven't heard that word ever said out loud because I don't watch the anime. Thank
Or
you.
listen to the podcast.
I didn't know who you people were during Dressrosa.
Am I the only one
Thank
who
you.
watches the?
Yes, you are.
You're not allowed
Steve.
to be mean to me.
I can.
But I am.
No, I'm gonna go on strike. Actually. Anyway.
Wait,
There's
we can
no
avoid
unions here on the One Piece podcast.
No, we don't want to go on strike. We can avoid this.
Yeah. Let's settle
So-
this.
Anyway, why did Hyridin? Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Why did Hyridin have to bring that weirdo onto the crew?
We're talking about Roto, I think. Or
And then, oh God, fuck you guys. Well, that's because he's a good navigator. Well, I hate him. Loki's not the shame of Elbaf. It's him. Oh God, I didn't practice.
I never asked you to practice.
Okay.
I actually encourage not practicing,
well, of course,
Ken.
Goldberg's the cook.
doing too much
Yes.
homework.
And we get that's only
Yeah.
gonna make Roto happier. And we see Gerd, the new giant pirate's doctor, and Goldberg, the new giant pirate's cook. And Gerd says, "You saw it, didn't you, Piper?" That's his
The owl?
crow was carrying a little boat in his mouth, and then she's talking to the owl that she's got resting on her arm. It was very cute.
Is that supposed to be a snow owl? Sorry, I like owl.
I would
Okay.
assume it's not a summer owl, given the
No,
climate
there's
they're in.
maybe it's the barn owl because it's the one with the giant eyes. Like not the giant eyes, the thing around the eyes, that big like the circle thing.
I
Anyway,
think
go
it
ahead.
reflects light.
oh, that's pretty cool.
No, it's not barn owl. I'll figure this out. Go ahead.
And Goldberg says, intruders have to be caught, of course. But Roto creates intruders all on his own.
There you go. You got it.
I'm trying.
I wanted to ask.
Adorable
I wanted to ask Steven
here.
what that voice is. Like that.
Yes.
You can. Why don't you message him?
Okay.
While we're doing this, yeah.
It's
I'm
not quite a lisp.
curious.
It's kind of like he's got a lot of saliva.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking fish.
this is the one I found. It's the
It's
great
kind of
gray
Daffy
owl.
Duck.
I love you looking up the owl, Zach.
Thank you.
Okay. And then we see some very tiny straw hats saying, "Hi, Luffy." And Luffy, they seem nice. No, stop. And then I'm assuming this is Gerd talking, saying, "I'm going to find them and tell Chief Yarul. Are we
Chieftain, yeah, Chieftain Yarul, I think.
about this.
The only reason we know this is it came up in we'll talk about this more at the end, I guess. But Yarul was one of the two elders in the flashback with Big
I thought they were
Mom,
both
right?
dead.
And I thought they were both dead too.
No, one of them got killed.
Oh, you're right. One got killed and the other was pissed at Big Mom and vanished.
Yeah,
So he's got to be.
Joe Rule died. Ja Rule is fine.
How? Oh, Ken, if you did your homework.
What does
how
Ja
old is-
Rule think?
No.
Let me just write down Ja Rule is fine.
What does Yarul think?
How old was he in the flashback?
How
Old.
old? I don't know.
Oh,
The flashback was 63 years ago, so
to
old
63
plus.
Damn,
Old
we've been
plus-
doing this podcast a long time.
Anyway,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Usopp says, "Did you hear that, people? They said the name Elbaf. We've got to be there." He's so happy. He's crying. And Sanji, "I didn't know there were giants so beautiful." And Luffy, "Hey, you guys, and Nami's like, "Idiot. They said intruders get caught." And Nami's the only one doing any kind of thinking right now. And the giants turn around and go, because they hear the skirmish. Did I imagine that? And I think so. And they come upon the castle, banging on the door. "Roto, are you in there?"
Steve.
Did you see anything? No, we didn't see you playing with your dolls again, Roto.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we're back on this this far back wide shot here, as clearly the gang is now crossing the big jumpy rickety wooden bridge at Tom Sawyer's Island. And
Yeah, they're Disney.
And someone says it shakes a lot. It's so long. And thankfully we know Zoro is talking right here, because we have a tiny little Zoro here in the speech bubble that says, "We gotta hurry. If those giants come back, there's nowhere to hide." And we get this great establishing shot here of showing the scale of how big this is, having Luffy walking up on the rope here, and we see there's huge gaps between each plank of wood, which to any giant had be nothing. And also ravenous wolves below. So, and it's cold. And I can only assume maybe this is Usopp here, because only Nami gets a free ride. A giant-sized bridge means every step is a pit to avoid. Or maybe that's Nami, because someone says, "Don't worry, Nami." I should just read ahead. This is actually Chopper here saying, "Don't worry, Nami. I used to balance on ropes all the time. I'm good at this." Drum Island, he's
Not
done it
familiar.
before. And this must be Usopp here saying, "It's a trial fit for a brave warrior," as he clings to every single piece of vertical rope there, which
Do you know
I'd
what,
probably do the
Usopp?
same.
You're still doing it, so you're still a brave
valid.
warrior.
Yeah. The forest below is packed with giant wolves, and Zoro, and I'm still not over Zoro's dorky goggles here. God, this is like if Zoro played basketball, but he had prescription glasses he needed to always wear.
Yeah.
And he looks up and says, "What's up, Luffy?" And Luffy looks off in the distance and says, "Can you feel that too?" Something's tingling. It's his Luffy senses, obviously. And so she says, "Well, I'm not going." And Zoro says, then I'll, and Sanji says, and neither are you. You're not setting foot in any force in the entire world. And Luffy pointing off in the distance, and he says, it's whoever I heard roaring back in the Block Kingdom, I think. And Luffy jumps down from the bridge and says, you guys keep going across the bridge. And everyone says, what? And everyone's just like, Luffy, what are you doing here?
Come on, man.
Usopp talking to himself, saying, be brave, Usopp. And they're saying, like, what are you doing? There's wolves down there. And then we get another wide shot. We can hear the cold winter wind blow here as we see them still traversing.
Either the wind or the wolves going,
bridge.
Oh.
That's a nice book, The Wind of the Wolves.
Before we get to that book, did the math, and that means Yarul is 408 years old currently. He was Beard Hill, and Beard Hill and Beard Fall. He was the older of the two and is the surviving member after Big Mom kicked his ass at the age of 5. He was 345 in that flashback for those who didn't do their homework. Okay, move to the next page as we head back to the what we don't have a name for this ship, the Giant's Viking ship,
the Great Elric.
Oh yeah, you're right, Eric. I think it was Eric.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's Eric, a guy from let's say Portland, who's and on the ship. You hear someone saying, what does it say? We attacked Egghead? And we have a response from presumably Robin saying, yes, that was in the morning paper. Why would they lie about us? Now, this, by the way, this whole scene, this is Robin as the only human amongst Muppets.
Yes.
Please don't take that out of your head for the entire chapter. And this is Brogy, right? Saying it's too tiny to see. And Robin says, I'll read it for you. I have glasses. And says, the giant pirate crew returns after a century of slumber. With Emperor Straw Hat Luffy, they set the seas around Egghead aflame. The captains of the giant pirate crew, Brogy the Red Ogre and Dory the Blue Ogre, are each worth about a bounty of 1.8 billion berries. We have bounties? Now I know who I'm stronger than. And weaker than.
Weaker than Luffy.
Stronger than Jack. So each of them. So here you go. Bounty heads. We got bounties. And wait, 1.8 billion. First of all, Dory thought, now I see that their names were literally below the bubble I was looking at. Sorry. Dory is like, oh, I didn't think we were back in action. I thought we were retired to a nice life of fighting each other for hundreds of years. And the random Sven character, whatever that is in the background, mentions, hey, I thought you were 100 million back in the day, right? That's a big jump. It's like pushes up her glasses on the rim of her nose and says, well, actually, inflation means the currency value has changed a lot over the last 100 years. That seems appropriate for an Elbaf warrior chieftain. And yeah, so we're going to soon have the next One Piece novel will be called One Piece, a tour of the economics of the Grand
Robin
Line.
continues.
Yes, Robin does continue. It was more important I talk about the economics of One Piece. And we see a newspaper article with Luffy and Vegapunk, and I'll talk a bit about the image in a sec. Saying, meanwhile, our captain, Robin continues, meanwhile, our captain is the culprit who murdered Vegapunk. And everyone's like, what? And Frankie is just like, another masterclass in lies and distortion. Frankie does not like tabloids. And
the lamestream media.
No, too soon. And by too soon, I mean happening now. And you have Lilith, who is laughing, saying, he killed me, did he? I imagine talking like an old man. And
I think that's so cute.
Frankie, what was the term all of you were talking about, Frankie, here? How hot he is?
Cunty Flam.
You don't have to draw that, Mike.
I mean,
write it down.
I kind of want to.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the sexiest Frankie has looked in a very long time. We gotta say it. I was really saying in my mind, I was like, yeah, Nami's got the best new outfit. Maybe it's Luffy. It's going to Frankie. Look at that.
This is one of the best fits he's had in a while, I think.
If you title it Clinty Flam, it will look like that. And then also we're not spelling it that way. Yeah. Yes, it has to be all caps, though. Lower caps, yeah. I mean, lowercase doesn't work.
Did you just say clit?
Clint.
Yeah, I only get the reference. What's the... Is this just over my head?
Like Clint Eastwood with the hat.
A capital L next to an I. What does that look like? It looks like a U. Try it at home, kids.
Fool your teacher.
We're adults here. We can just say that he looks cunty, that he is serving cunt.
Yes, but
it's
we're
on
not
a platter.
Gonna title it that because,
I wrote it down. It's too late. I can't take it back. It's at least on the list. Anyway, one more conversation in the background here is Brooke says, hey, when was this picture taken? And Jinbei's like, well, at some point in Egghead, I'm sure the World Economic Journal has people everywhere. They'll pay good money for photographs.
Paparazzo.
Absalom, we know, is dead, so it's not him, hopefully. And the picture is interesting because there is a certain something on the arm. But Ken, maybe you could go through that a little bit more.
Of course, thank you.
Where it's supposed to be.
Yes. We got to Robin here. When Luffy turns into his free form, does this mark appear on his arm? And we get a zoom in of Luffy in his Gear 5 form with the classic X on the arm. And then someone saying, does it? He's usually moving around so much, I've never gotten a good look. It seems so unnatural to me, because his hand is blurred, but the mark is crystal clear. And then Frankie says, strange detail to focus on. And Brooke is, it just seems so familiar to me.
That is Robin.
Yeah.
Because Robin might be familiar with it.
might be.
Yeah.
She was nearby.
She was on the ship. She was on the ship at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she looked out the window and be like, what is everyone doing out there?
We have Dory leaning in here. Amazing to think that Straw Hat's considered equal with red hair now. We had this youngster named Harden on our crew. I hear he's a follower of you now. He's the son of a king too, was a real
tempestuous.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tempestuous.
Brat, though. He was he? They wanted to come and get you, too, but in the end, it was only the old-timers because of a bit of a trouble back in Elbaf. And they're asking, trouble? I love this, too, because all the giants are just gathered around, like...
Right here in River City.
All the giants just gather around like a little table with all the Straw Hats, like dolls, just looking at them.
By the way, they're on the table, the Straw Hats.
Yes.
They're not sitting at the table, they're on.
No.
Yeah.
It's not even a table, it looks like a larger stool, maybe. Next page. It happened while the captains were away. You see, in Elbaf, the king had another official child, known as the Accursed Prince. He committed all manner of evil acts and was sentenced to crucifixion a few years back, but nearly escaped his punishment. It took all our warriors to get him under control. And Frankie is like, all the giant warriors of Elbaf together? Would his name happen to be... And he gets cut off there. Yeah, he's got a few screws loose. He's desperate. His desperate desire for a legendary devil fruit passed down through the Elbaf royal line led him to kill his father, King Harold, and eat the fruit. The next time that Loki, the Accursed Prince, is unleashed, the world will be brought to ruin. And we get a look of...
Well, I hope no one is trying to find that guy. Go on.
We get a look of Loki in the background with his tongue out. And then we cut back to Elbaf, and we're back on the forest area with the castle where it's snowing. And the giants still continue on from the conversation back on the boat. He's the shame of Elbaf. Right, Steve?
Okay. And then we see the shame of Elbath's shame here. Thankfully he's covering up, but yeah, locked up for the crime of manspreading.
Got chains around his leg and everything.
Yeah, but amazing scale here as we see Luffy is approaching this giant figure here who and he's got like a big horn helmet.
It's like a fireman's helmet, kind of, with horns.
A little bit like that, yeah. And
he's got a crazy look on his face.
How do you know? You can't read half of it. But he's got a big smile, devious smile, but he says, "Name yourself." And Luffy's like, "I'm Luffy. The man will be king of the pirates." And the giant retorts, "King?" And Luffy says, "Where am I? And who are you?"
Love how nonchalant Luffy is. Like, oh, what is that? I don't know. Ed.
I'm
sorry.
I'm Lucky D. Luffy. Who the hell are you?
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. All right. So he says, this is Warland, Elbaf's kingdom of warriors, the most powerful nation in the world, which once lived and breathed warfare. And I am the sun god who brings the world to an end. Loki.
Dun, 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 dun.
I did not notice until just now the little tiny speech bubble in the middle of the tree saying, "It's shaking," which I guess are the Straw Hats.
Yeah, it's them on the bridge.
Yeah,
It's the bridge to the castle.
Did not notice that until just this moment. And the manga will return in 2 weeks. But Ed, do you want to describe what's going on this page? Or by going on, I mean, you want to describe what's on this page?
Yes, it's the World Tree Yggdrasil, I think, and there's a gigantic sword sort of sticking out of the middle of the tree there, up through the branches, on the right side.
And down, it looks like.
Bro, it's just like Lendell. Don't worry about it.
To be fair, Onigashima also had a giant sword, and we totally
got
the answer
Glendale.
To that. And I'm that's what I thought too. Good community reference there.
Just Chekhov's sword. Yeah, better swing this thing.
There's the giant sword right next to where they do the quarterly fountain show.
Yeah, I need Big Luffy to hold that sword.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure I know who the sun god is, and it's not this guy.
Yeah, we're
who is it the sun god at this point?
God. If you're the sun god and he's the sun god and Luffy, who's
Roto,
sun god.
Yeah.
Is there any other sun gods I need to know about?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're off for 2 weeks after this, but thoughts on this chapter? Steve, I'll start with you.
Unfortunately, it's a short chapter, and I think the big reveal here I got spoiled on because of fan art.
Oh,
sorry, not that it's anyone's fault.
I do love Loki's design, though, like that we see on the previous page.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually intrigued. I was not expecting this kind of look. If this is indeed, it is Loki. He does say
he's
Loki.
not beardy enough.
I thought he was going to be dopier looking, to be honest.
He is pretty dopey looking.
I mean,
nah, he looks
you were expecting Vegapunk, not.
I
was expecting more Vicky the Viking, kind of style.
Yeah.
Something, more like Hinga Dinga Durgan.
Goldberg is very Vicky the Viking with his stupid hair.
Yeah. I was expecting something closer to that too.
Because it was Lola, right? Lola to turn this fine specimen down. More power to you, sister. Because I just assumed he was like, you want to get married? And she's like,
look her.
Ooh, no.
This is a good example of how silhouettes are lies, because if you go back to that chapter in Whole Cake Island, he looks like how Steve is describing it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just posted in the chat what he looked like.
I think we kind of covered it. Like, I think it was well said with it's just a lot of Muppets. And I enjoy that very much so. The Giants just have that great vibe. I really like the older crew here, mom, dad, uncle, it's mom and dad and grandpa and grandma, according to Oda. And I really like them hanging out with the the big giants here. I think Robin with glasses on. Have we seen Robin with reading glasses on in the
I
manga?
would bet money we have.
Probably.
She reads a lot. That's the thing she does.
Show. I've never seen.
Well, you got to show the time is
glasses.
fast.
It's her superpower.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
According to anime endings, that's the thing she does. Yes.
Yeah, it's like Robin with reading glasses on telling me how inflation works, and I'm just like tugging out my collar, and I'm like, yeah.
Next time someone shakes the boat, she's going to be crawling around like Velma.
But like the biggest reaction on me, this is like something personal for me, was just the X mark. Seeing that kind of like be relevant in the current manga again, like really put a smile on my face. So much, I had to post about it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what the relevance is. If it like, why would it not appear when he's in Gear 5? Why would anyone think that?
Well, here's what immediately came to mind for me, because World Economic Journal, that's ran by Big News Morgans.
It's
and okay. I was building up to that. Yeah, way to you threw off my groove.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's obviously
I get it now.
That's obviously like Vivi probably flirting with all like the women at the WSJ to be like, hey, can I just make one alteration to the photo here? I'm willing to bet this is Vivi just drawing the X on the forearm, just be like, to alert the crew, be like, hey, it's me, I'm okay.
Well, the fact that the way they mention it specifically as
just drawing it with a Sharpie like Trump's hurricane forecast.
Yeah, exactly. His hand is blurred, but again, too soon. But the mark is crystal clear, and it's strange. The fact that they focus on that.
It's kind of hard to convey that in a comic. But
I had a crazy.
Smudge the ink a little bit before it dries.
On my first read of it, I had a very crazy theory, which I won't go through.
Let's hear it, buddy.
Actually, his hand is blurred because he's given the finger.
No, my crazy theory, if you really want to hear it, is I was immediately thinking of Greg's X marks the spot thing and how the X marks the treasure. So Luffy's the real treasure. He's
the treasure in my heart. I don't think
he's
that's
the One Piece.
But,
Luffy's the One Piece. He's
Zach,
had it the whole time.
Yeah, Zach, I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you look even closer in that photo of Luffy, you could see Odin's ghost there. Holding up a sign.
I prefaced this that I knew it was a crazy theory.
No, it's okay. I like it.
Yeah,
I thought these were fake straw hats like a month ago. So
and then there's some Bill Cipher code for you to unravel there.
I wish. I wish.
Like I said, I immediately thought that must be Vivi, right? Drawing that in there.
100%.
She's aware, because I remember her seeing the 3D2Y saying like that must mean something. So she knows how they roll.
It's very funny, but it explains why they split up the crew the way they did. If Oda had this in mind, because these are all post Alabasta crewmates.
The idea that there's multiple kings, I guess, on Elbaf is interesting. Considering Howard and they talk about his father formerly being a king, and I guess he's turning out to be a very rambunctious little ragamuffin.
Loki murdering his father, the king.
Yes, very Loki of him, and I can't wait to find out what this devil fruit is. But I was really surprised to find out who Loki is like so quick. I think
too many fake sun gods running around.
Yeah,
we know the legend of Nika did originate in Elbaf, didn't it?
Well, that's their main god. They pray to the sun god.
We know it is
beforehand.
We know it's part of the mythology. I don't think we know whether it originated there, but I think that's a fair assumption to make. Because also the slaves on Marijoa, and the fishmen also had the sun god stuff.
Sun pirates.
Yeah.
So my mind had jumped to like immediately because Oda will make not what's the right phrase? Not duplicates of a devil fruit, but like something that's very similar. But tweaked.
Yeah, like variants.
Yeah. And I am wondering, I'm like, oh, it would be kind of cool if Loki does have a fruit that is super similar. He realizes it's not actually what it is, but has been saying it. I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall here. I think that'd be cool. Or I think it would be the other thought. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was going to say that I think that's a good idea, but like maybe it's more likely that's another like mythological. Yeah.
My other thought process was there are multiple forms of mythology throughout the world. It would totally make sense if there was more than one kind of sun god in the world of One Piece. Which
we have Buddha
cool.
too. And what other mythology? There probably were others.
They got a Bible, so
I have the Jesus fruit.
Jesus is out there somewhere. Yeah.
I could turn water into wine. That's it.
I think that would be a great devil fruit. Actually, I would give up the ability to swim to be able to be the ultimate party animal.
It's great for alcoholics.
On the water anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve. We were talking to you, right? Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about the chapter?
I will say that what's going to be difficult about Elbaf is the sense of scale. I don't think it always hits with his panels and his page layouts, and other times it does. Like I think, Luffy approaching. Yeah, like Luffy approaching Loki is like a great example because you have that. Because of course he's wrapped in chains, so putting like one of those chains in the foreground there really sells like just how big he is. And then there's other stuff like I think like the rope bridge was kind of like hit or miss.
Yes.
Like there's some times where it's just because you don't always like there's only a few times you see Gerd and Goldberg in like the same panel as our crew. It's a shame that Oda doesn't really do like one single page spreads as much anymore because they could be super effective. It would have been great for this, but he
just
didn't.
The last page.
Yeah, I think like the top panel on page 5 is really good because you just see like their feet and their ankles, and you see the straw hats in the foreground there. And then there's stuff like the mom and dad and the grandparents on the little table talking to Dorian Broget and everyone else. That is also effective, but I feel like there's going to be some struggles along the way, and hopefully not. I can emphasize that I'm empathetic to Oda because staging really tall characters with like the very small is really difficult. So, but other than that, yeah, it was fun. It's a shame that we're off for 2 weeks, but I'm busy, so.
I got stuff to do. Ken,
got work in the morning.
I really enjoyed this chapter. Just going back, I reread all of like the Big Mom flashback sequences before reading this. After reading this chapter, just
he did his homework.
Yeah, I did. There's a lot of cool things in that flashback because like we get to see Elbaf for the first time in that chapter, and when we first see Elbaf, like we only see just like the little mountains and like the shadow of what might be the tree, and then you line it up with the reveal of Elbaf in this chapter, and like we saw like a fraction of the scale of Elbaf, which is really interesting to see. There are a bunch of characters mentioned in that chapter too, like Loki. Apparently, Loki was born back in that flashback, along with Roto and Goldberg and Loki were all born around the same time because they were celebrating them during the Big Mom flashback. So that's how we know like Loki's age and whatnot. And in that flashback, Harden's there too. He's already like a little like toddler, I guess you say for a giant. Like he's already like he's not a baby in that chapter. And then what Steve mentioned earlier, he mentioned that Harden's also the son of a king, but they didn't say the king, and it's referred to as Prince Loki, and Harden's ever been referred to as Prince Harden before. So it's interesting. There's something going on there. At first, like my first thought when I read that was like, oh, it's going to be like Thor and Loki, or Harden's the older brother of Loki, or something like that. Because they said a king and not the king, I'm wondering more and more about what the royalty or the hierarchies of Elbaf really are. So that's interesting. And yeah, it was really good chapter. This is the first, like, I wasn't really sold on the whole Block Kingdom stuff for a while. And back into what Steve was saying with like the scale. Like the scale of the Block Kingdom didn't really sell me on the size of Elbaf, but then you get this final 2-page spread of the actual kingdom, and if you like, I was zooming in on this for a while. There's so many little details, like all the different like cannons in the trees. There's waterfalls coming off the tree down to the water. And the size of like, if you think how big Idrisil must be, like this has to be like, I don't want to say up at Skypiea level, but there's got to be like island clouds or something at the very, very top of this thing.
I think so, yeah.
The village we saw in the Big Mom flashback was only at like the coastline of the mountains on the very bottom, so we haven't been up in like the trees yet. Like the first layer of trees, you see like the giant like castle there, and like it keeps going up and up.
Well,
and
we
up,
don't we don't know. It might have been in the tree that village was in, right? It's possible.
It's possible. I don't know. Like once we see like the terrain of like the trees, I'm assuming they're not walking on branches and stuff like that. But if there's land masses in the trees,
you think it's cloud like sky?
That's what I assume, but
sense.
I could be wrong.
Well, you could kind of see clouds around there. The giant sword is crazy to me because it's a giant sword for the giants. Like that thing is, you take one of those skyscrapers, it's like 10 times the size of that. So that it's kind of mind-boggling, but. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a Chekhov sword because we still never found out the Onigashima one. But at the same time, the stuff with ores and how much is ores significantly bigger than a giant is the other question I have, which I'll look up now. But Ken, go ahead.
Go look at Rainford.
Yeah, ores was closer to the number size for Onigashima, I thought, but I could be wrong.
If he's going to take the big sword and
cut the tree
down.
Do you know how
the red
well,
line.
I guess if he uses his power, but yeah.
Last thing, just Loki's design is amazing.
He exudes menace.
He really does. I didn't think that Loki was going to be the bad guy going into Elbaf. Like I always assumed that like because we're so friendly with the giants, there wouldn't be this kind of infighting amongst the giants. So it's interesting that he's being framed as the bad guy. I'm assuming he's being held down with sea stone chains if he does have this legendary devil fruit.
But he believes that he will bring the end of the world, so
yeah.
That's threatening.
But it's just cool how Oda's pulling a lot from Norse mythology here because Loki was chained to, I don't think he was chained to a tree per se, but he was incapacitated after killing, I forget which god it is, but he killed a god. He was locked away for it. His eyes got poison spit in them, and this Loki has bandages over his eyes. So there's a lot. Like he's pulling a lot from Norse mythology. Which
I
makes
don't
sense.
remember that from Thor. Which movie was that one in?
That one was not in the movies. But yeah, I really enjoyed this chapter, and this to me is Elbaf starting off finally after the Block Kingdom side quest.
It was one of the many multiverses where Loki got spit in the eye.
Yeah.
That's how Thanos killed him in another timeline.
Yes.
Just doing that.
So the next time they do the Avengers with all the portals, Luffy and this guy are going to come through and help him out. Yeah.
God,
Vero.
Season 3 is gonna be insane.
Yeah, my personal hell when Disney buys Shueisha. Yeah.
We can't.
100% going to happen.
Yeah, then we don't get the Universal name.
I did see one thing.
Yeah, they're going to ruin fan night.
I'll never be able to celebrate my fandom for One Piece and go to Margaritaville in the same night.
You can just
language,
do that,
brother.
you know?
I did see some talking online where someone said that the Loki variant from the Marvel series is 1130, and this is chapter 1130.
I think I think it's a fun coincidence.
Exactly. Thank you.
I think the people who are like, Oda planned this, I'm like, I need you to log off. Maybe go call your mom.
Fun
down the
fact.
Galaxy
Oda's
Cast.
not writing. He's not writing author comments about watching Disney Plus shows. He's watching morning dramas.
Yeah, he's watching broadcasts. He's got a big antenna with bunny ears.
Vero.
Hi, Zach. This was so fun. I was letting some of the chapters build up, so I read this one and the last one together. I think it's so fun. I was like, Lego World, okay, all right, that's an interesting choice for Elbaf, and then for them to be the little dolls and then into this. I thought that was so fun. I think really didn't get spoiled. So the Loki reveal for me was cool. I really like his design. I do think that it's appropriately menacing. Not as much of a looker as Tom Hiddleston, but that's fine.
It's not possible.
Yeah, no one can really compare. Yeah.
No one serves Clint like him.
Exactly.
You get it? Because the L and the I make a U?
Oh my god, you guys are geniuses. That's
Wow,
crazy. Did you write boobs on your calculator too?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
I had been thinking, I'm like, okay, so what is this outcome with Luffy and Loki meeting up really going to look like? In my mind, I'm not really usually one to hypothesize what's going to happen in the future. I usually am like, Oda's the one writing the story, and I'm going to let him take me along for that ride. But part of me is like, I think it'd be very interesting. I can see Luffy accidentally unleashing Loki on the world, basically. He's cares very much about people who are being persecuted when he arrives somewhere. And we've got this guy chained up, and I'm sure we have a little trickster god who can spin a story to him. So I'm interested to see what will happen. But
You poke him with his mind control stick.
Exactly. I do also want to see the result of Gerd and what's his name? I'm going
Goldberg.
back. Gerd and Goldberg. GG.
But that's the new law firm I'm opening.
It's the new it couple, Goldberg.
I don't. It
No,
sounds
that's
like
Go-Gurt.
like
You're
you're
thinking of
birthing a
Go-Gurt.
baby when you say that. You're like the gurgle. I
don't like any of this.
I'm interested to see if
The
we get
original
anything from
Gurger
them.
baby.
Boo.
Look, I'll write it down, but I don't like it.
The folks don't hear it,
No.
but Ken's covering his mouth. He's laughing
Ken.
so hard.
Let it out, Ken.
I'm just politely smiling.
And
I'm over here smashing pumpkins.
Anyway, I want to see what happens as the result of the silly otaku giant having his toy house destroyed. I like to see that actually continue. And then also, we already talked about how good Frankie loves. I don't know, you guys took I think it's also Vivi, just like Steve said, putting the X's on Luffy. I think it's cute that Robin is like, haven't I seen this? Didn't you guys do something with this before? And the rest of them are like, I don't know. I think that's very cute. I like this. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I keep being like, oh my god, Elden Ring, Pog, but like that's just because Oda and George R. R. Martin were probably sitting around being like, okay, let's read some Norse mythology books. So it's fun. It's I like being like, oh, I recognize that myth actually. So yeah, I don't know. Excited to see where it goes.
They make Elden Ring pogs? Mike.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let that joke land. Mike.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I have been thinking has been covered by everybody. So I guess just to like echo what everybody has been saying, I like the way that this arc is starting. I was a little like, I don't know. I thought that the block like Lego land wasn't doing too much for me. So I'm happy we didn't stay in there crazy long, but we were in there like the right amount of time to me. And the landscape is beautiful, so I'm excited to see like what we get out of it. I agree that the staging is going to be very difficult to like get across, so I'm really hoping that that all lands nicely. But what did I really want to say? I had something and it is escaped my damn mind.
Snow. Giants.
Yeah. Snow,
Owls.
giant,
Swords.
owls,
Muppets.
swords,
Big swords.
Muppets. No, it's gone. It's just
Robin.
I
gone.
remembered something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just wanted to issue a correction on a previous statement of mine. The tagline from Wayne's World was, "You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl."
Yeah, it's hurl, not spew.
I like Curl.
I like that better. They're both not great, but
But Spew, it could be
Spew's
many
bad.
things.
Spew is.
If you're gonna spew into this.
What is it? If you hurl and they stay, it was meant to be. But if you blow chunks and they leave, it was never meant. That's what it is.
I don't like this discussion either.
It's Wayne's World.
Still,
Party time, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That I know.
Well, look, all that to say, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see where this goes. I do think that we are going to get I think it's going to be cool to get into the relationship of Loki and his brother. Honestly, I think that's cool that we're seeing
or
stuff
his rival
from
at least
from the fleet. Yeah.
Do we know? Did we? I forget. Hiruden's not his brother, right? Or,
I thought that was it. I thought that was his brother.
Is that?
They
say
said
specific?
They said Harden is the son of a king,
and
not the king.
And the thing says the king had another official child, so they're both children of the same king. It would seem.
Yeah,
that's how I took it too. Yeah,
if he's doing like the Loki thing, Loki and Thor,
which is
are
what
actually brothers.
which is what it feels like. Yeah,
so, Hiruden's based off of Thor. I'm sorry, my mythology. I need to do something.
That's why
so
one
is
making me Thor.
So that's like the mythology of it, in my understanding. So
interesting. And we know Hiruden's older because he was alive during that flashback when Loki was born. I just read that too. I did my homework too, Ken. I did my homework.
Way to go.
Anything else, Mike?
No, I'm good. I'll talk to you guys later.
No,
okay, bye.
That was all I.
No,
that was pretty much all I had to say. I love that. I love that sort of the dynamic of like Dory and Broggy sort of talking about what was going on as well, and like their amusement at their bounties. Like, I thought we were retired.
That part was funny.
And then Robin sort of reading the newspaper to the Giants. It's very funny to me. But I was also having trouble following the stuff like on the bridge, so I'm feeling Elbaf a lot more now, especially with like the sort of menace that Loki brings to the scene here.
Yeah, the bridge was actually going to be the part I complained about. If we're starting with I like the motif. I don't like that panel a ton. I feel like it's messy. The page 6 one, the one right in the smack in the middle.
Yes,
is it the wolves?
The little grumpy Luffy on top.
Well, the wolves you can't. I mean, obviously they're also giant wolves, but you like the perspective for me. I'm not an artist, so forgive me.
They kind of look like the wolves from Impel Down.
They do, but it's also very scratchy. I mean, maybe because he's drawing them small, but like
they're off in the distance.
It's not doing it for you.
Making me feel like an asshole here.
No,
it's
okay.
No. Like I like the motif, and I like
We're
what
done
they do with it.
It's time to kvetch.
There you go. The KV time.
Bring it around.
Yeah. It's fine. It's just that panel I thought was a little not the best. No, I really enjoyed this chapter. This was a really fun chapter. It did not feel like 15 pages. And a quick 15 pages because there's 2 big spreads with not a lot of dialogue, which is like, this is probably going to be one of our shortest manga recaps in a while. It was a really fun chapter, though. I'm really enjoying this stuff. I know very little about Norse mythology, which I'm sure you'll all notice as we go along. But I do like, I mean, having visited Norway, and I love Scandinavian culture. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to more of it. Maybe that's why I'm a little disappointed in the Loki design. I agree with Steve, what I expected, and maybe because I have like opposite of the, like the Power Scalar fan expectations. I wanted
him to be silly. You wanted
him sillier.
The god of mischief
to be silly because he's the god of mischief. But instead he's a Kaido Doflamingo mashup.
He is doing the Doflamingo tongue.
He's doing the Doflamingo tongue.
Yeah.
He has the complicated tattoos on his arms, and I know about those because Steve had to draw a lot of that.
You never know. He might have stupid eyes.
That's true. He might have stupid eyes. In fact, I'm sure he does.
A little fireman's helmet with horns.
Unwraps his bandages. He just has Count Doom cartoon eyes.
Or he has what's the character from My Hero? He just has those eyes. I forget.
There's many of those.
I don't know.
The one with the 1920s.
That series ended.
I didn't really read I didn't read any of it. Anyway.
Yeah, that was me in high school, Zach.
Yeah, I know.
To most of my homework assignments. I don't know. I didn't read it.
Yeah, exactly. At least I'm admitting it. Yeah, he look. Does he look cool? Sure, but it just feels kind of the samey, I think, for Oda in villains particularly. I don't know if he's supposed to be that, but obviously they're giving him some, what do you call it? Ominousness behind him. I still, despite all this, don't think I still don't think this arc is going to have a proper villain, but look, I could be wrong. I think this guy is immediately interesting. I hope he's not just like, oh, and here I am unleashing havoc and because of I'm evil and stuff. I'm the champion of evil. Oh, wait, someone else already got that title. Shit. But yeah, I hope he is atypical because he looks a little like how a random YouTuber would draw a thumbnail of what they thought Loki would look like. That's,
sure.
I think, where
I want to see him do a little trickery. I want to see him do sideways malice and not just like outright destruction. I want to see him like trick the Straw Hats into doing his bidding or something.
It's so funny because the one panel we had of him before this was that silhouette panel from the Whole Cake Island, and he's a big doofy silhouette giving a little flower to Lola. Right. This is not what I pictured at all. Sure. So I'm like, what's going on here? And the fact that he's chained up and not killed, like you would think, like, all right, you killed the king, let's kill you.
They could.
I wonder that they said they couldn't do it. It took all of them just to bring him down.
So it makes me wonder what crazy power does he have that allowed him to kill the king who had the devil fruit to begin with. If I don't know, there's so much mystery with him, and I'm very on board for it.
Yeah, look, the character, I agree. Just mentioning like this initial thing, I'm sure we're going to have some interesting quirks and Oda-isms with him. I love his belt, and I love the perspective of that shot. I think that is a very good panel. The chains in particular, good job, assistants. It looks really cool.
They had some really beautiful cross-hatching in there, yeah.
They do. Like that, more of that. I love it. I'm so happy to be at a true winter island again. I guess Punk Hazard technically was the last one, kind of. That's more of Kuzan, but I love winter landscapes. I'm probably not going to say this when you talk to me in February, but yeah, it's fantastic. It's 80 degrees this week, Ken, in the New York area.
I was sweating.
End of October.
Do you want to swap? It's very cold down here for some reason.
Well, what's very cold for Floridian? I mean, I know you're in Georgia.
It was 40 at night. It was in the 40s.
Love.
I slept with my window open and got very cold.
We're getting the 40s here too.
We get 40s at night, but it's 80 during the day, which is weird. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the weather. I like this chapter. No one talked about the Zosan stuff. Did anyone? The Sanji and I saw that internet was really talking about it. The Sanji and Zoro stuff.
Zach, I've been locked into Kingdom Hearts Yaoi for the last week. I've forgotten about Zosan.
Why did we even have you on this
I don't
show?
know. You can get rid of me. It's okay.
I think we also talked about the Chopper callback to Drum Island. Love that. I think the reason I like this arc so far so much is that it really feels like an earlier One Piece arc. Not even not like East Blue, but like, sometime between Drum Island and the time skip. Like, it feels like it belongs in that time frame with the character interactions and all of that. And good, because that was like the ideal Straw Hat stuff. I hope the Straw Hats are the focus of this arc.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed Egghead. I really liked all the characters. I loved all the craziness.
We got a lot of Sanji focus in Whole Cake, but...
Yes, but I want this to be about the Straw Hats character interactions.
But also specifically Usopp.
No, it's going to be about
Frankie.
Two brothers.
It's going to be about
brothers.
Just two brothers.
Something I forgot to mention earlier was, as I'm reading it, and I'm thinking about an island that is fit to house giants. I'm thinking of like how massive the island must be. Like,
they're just running around in their little tree forts.
Yeah, and in this world where like everything on the map is like a tiny little blip, you've got a continent happening here. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, I don't think any of those maps that we see are necessarily like to scale. I mean, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I'm
not to scale.
More Harvey Birdman references, please. But yeah, no, you're right. It's got to be huge. I forgot who said it last week. The idea that giants go around. Oh, this is an island of small people. Oh, this is another island of small people. And just
how many times until they were like, wait a minute, are we the outlier? It's very funny.
So it kind of tangentially, but related to that, it made me wonder about Saul. I mean, we're probably going to be seeing him here because we know he's on Elbaf. But he also mentioned, I'm not like those Elbaf giants when we originally saw him. And that makes me wonder if there is one other island of, as giants would call them, normal-sized people. It makes me really wonder.
Elbaf is the land of war, apparently. Maybe he comes from the land of peace.
I was just gonna say that, Ed. I feel like he clearly just has a different like temperament than them.
Yeah,
in that sense.
that's how
He does, and he has that cute little hat. I love the cowboy hats in fashion here. This week.
Now Cunty
they
Flam
clash
has it.
with the Viking aesthetic. So
it's Clinty Flam. Come on.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
No, it's okay. I'm giving you the C pass. You can say.
Oh, sick! Thank you.
Yeah.
How long does he get
Warriors, the Elbaf
45
Warriors
minutes.
are kind of like a Logan Steakhouse kind of vibe, and then Saul's more of like a Margaritaville kind of vibe.
Of course.
With his cutoff jean shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it for the manga recap. Let's move on to the next segment right after this.
Right.
This is the double anime recap for episodes 1121 and 1122, and quite possibly a season finale of sorts.
Seasons now.
I'm your host, Sam, and today with me we have tablecloth sewn Steve Yurko.
Silky smooth for your table. Wash them. Don't let the dust get baked into the tablecloth.
That was real
clean your
association.
homes.
That was I didn't even give myself the chance to think of something even mildly interesting.
Yeah, and you looked up, and that's what you think of me, tablecloths, but no, it's fine. Tablecloths come in plaid, solid, others.
And joining us as well is the wonderful Chika from Shoujo Sunday.
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm joining the anime recap to also tell you to vote for Shoujo Sunday to win a Signal Award.
And unlike everybody else in this episode on the podcast, you did not dip for the anime. You stuck around.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because my husband's grandfather, like, what happened to him? My husband being Ace. Yeah, pseudo, like, yeah. What's going on? What's tea? Like, I had to be here for this.
I think they call that a grandfather-in-law.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or Garp isn't even really Ace's grandpa. He's like a guy who's responsible for him for a little bit.
Like his family.
Yeah, like, has Ace ever referred to Garp as grandpa or grandfather? I don't think so.
No,
maybe he has. I shouldn't talk so boldly, but
they've never referred to each other as like being familial.
Yeah.
Although clearly, they care as much as they might be on the opposing sides.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure it's Sam. Since you and I weren't on the main show. Should we share our thoughts about the anime news?
Yes, so they announced on social media recently, or was it this morning or yesterday?
It was like this morning for us.
This morning.
Sunday, October 13th. And I'm pretty sure Zach and them already covered a lot of the details, so we don't have to explain too much for the context. But
yeah,
thoughts?
the anime as we know it is going on break for the next 5 months. And instead they will be filling that space with a re-edited version of Fishman Island, cutting the 50 episodes down to 21, which is wild.
Insane.
And remastering and like reanimating or redrawing parts of it as they go. We don't know
Like
100% how involved it's going to be. Like how much are they going to add or change? Or but it seems like we're going through the process of like slowly, One Piece kaifying the post time skip material. It seems
it's almost like
the goal.
It's like they're compositing it.
Well, yeah, I was looking at them side by side.
Yeah.
And it's like mostly the same drawings, like some obviously new drawings, but then also some of the drawings are being like touched up, or like they have what's the process where they do the touch up, where they have somebody who has to come in and like redraw faces or whatever.
Like revisions,
revisions, yes.
Corrections. For the anime industry, it would be like corrections. Yeah, the good old yellow paper.
Yeah, I'm kind of biting my tongue there, because like when I was looking at side by side, I was like, some of this, it would not surprise me to learn, was not made by human hands.
Ooh, yeah.
Some of it looks like they circled some line art in Photoshop and hit the generative fill tool. But I don't know. Maybe I'm
if true.
Maybe I'm making that up. That is completely just an observational assumption that I made just off of the tiny previews they showed.
Well, we won't know for sure until until we just see more or it airs. But I'm not I'm kind of like surprised, but not all that surprised, because like the anime is so on the heels of the current stuff. I mean, Egghead in the manga has only just recently ended, and this stuff the what we're going to call today's episodes, what, like the sword saga, the Garp Junior saga. Let's quick little getaway from Egghead stuff. That was happening spring of 2023. So I think like with this, we're still kind of like at a normal pace behind the manga, but I think some of the pacing of them, the most recent manga chapters isn't going to be 1-to-1 with just doing one chapter and per one episode anymore. So
yeah, it's been on average less than a chapter per week for a while.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of short chapters too.
Like they're just clearly not thrilled about the idea of like the anime episode count eclipsing the manga chapter count. And just having to always be, like they've been doing a pretty bang up job taking advantage of the slower pacing, I think. But
yeah,
obviously this is not the ideal scenario, and it's kind of amazing that they're doing this, because it's like all of the compromises you would expect them not to make, right? It's like,
yeah,
well, if they're gonna quote unquote fix some of those like mid-series episodes, it's like, it's not like they can throw the whole thing out, because a lot of it is good, and it's not like they would just reanimate parts of it, would they?
I'm curious, because like, yeah, touching up the visuals is one thing, but still like the animation in that era of the anime was not stellar. There's like a few great moments, but they were more like it felt like they were mostly action scenes.
It would not surprise me if it would be lightening their workload a lot if all they had to do for the next 5 months worth of episodes was a couple scenes here and there to smooth the whole thing out and make the whole thing look good.
I think just improving the visuals, if it's done by human hand, I think is a good thing. I'm actually I'm kind of like excited about
I'm thrilled. The idea that they're like, I'm excited to see how the pacing is. I'm excited to see what the differences are. I'm excited.
I'm hoping it's not too slapdash. Like, I hope it's not too fast, but I do.
Yes.
you could go back and listen to episodes of the podcast around that time when we still did commentary style anime recaps, and it was a chore. It was a chore to get through the anime at that time. It was rough. So I'm very intrigued. I don't want to take up too much time for this anime recap because we only have so much time, but
yeah.
I feel like Sam, you and I are the
I think they're killing a lot of birds with very few stones right now.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
But I don't know if I foresee us doing an anime recap of Fishman Island, but maybe it'd be nice to talk about when it initially airs. So we'll see.
Yeah. So
anyway.
we can begin our double anime recap with episode 1121, Garp and Kuzan, a master and pupil's beliefs clash. And it opens with Kuzan and Garp back in the day, punching at some ships together, like doing some training. And in the present day, we have Full Body and Django. In the present, they're approaching some of these beat up ships and being like, "Wow, what could have possibly happened to these ships that would gotten them so wrecked up?" And then Brand New has to come in and say, "Hey, these are not ships; they're battleship bags. They're punching bags for training." And as a side note, this is also Django now being voiced by Wataru Takagi instead of Kazuki Yao, because Kazuki Yao's we don't know if this is a permanent thing or not, but like Yao's voice is not, or he was ill this week at least, or in general he's been sounding ill, so who knows what's going on there.
But what's his name? Sorry, his previously voiced Django in the Django's Dance Carnival short ahead of One Piece movie 2.
Right.
For some reason, Yao was not Django in that. So,
but back in the present, back at Full Lead, San Juan Wolf is waking up. That can't be good. And Garp is landing mid action. Got some cool movie 5 music going, and Vasco shows up all red-faced and drunk, and he blows some drunken fire on Garp, who's like quick to just grab the pirates around him and pull them up as shields. And while the other Marines are all doing their best to evacuate the prisoners, and Garp makes a comment about, "Oh, this is indeed a beehive," as like all the pirates are coming out of the woodwork. Hence, I guess, leaning credence to Crunchyroll's choice to use Beehive as the name of the island. Kobe he's trying to run from the island, but he stops because he hears a woman scream, and he's like, "Oh, well, I can't not help her." And he runs, and it was a trap. It was an actress. It was just like in Whiskey Peak, with Zoro and like the little kid and the nun, and this is enough to distract Garp, which gives Shiryu a chance to jump in and impale him with a sword. And that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. And we come back.
Wow, we're already through.
Yeah. I think this one had a pretty early eye catch. Come back from the commercial break, and Garp just grabs Shiryu by the coat and slams him to the ground. He doesn't need to see Shiryu to just kind of grab and throw him. Like a fighting game grab.
Yeah.
The pirates all are running to attack him now that he's wounded. And we cut, and there's kind of like this nice kind of quiet, distant shot of Kuzan kind of watching the scene as like a cross-skilled wanted poster of Garp flies out of one of the pirates' hands and like hits Kuzan on the chest. And I believe this shot was done by our friend Jose Reboledo.
Ah, yeah. Jose.
And then we get crazy action going here with Kuzan running at Garp, just like tagging all the different pirates on the way, like just like, "Hey, you squirts, like get out of my way. I'm the one fighting him." We got some cool POV shots. We got some cool like panning around Garp in like a 3D background kind of shots. Kuzan makes like a slip and slide for himself out of ice to glide even faster. And then they throw
like
fists at each
Frozone
other
from The Incredibles.
Yeah, like Frozone.
Yeah.
And then they go, they're throwing fists at each other, and their faces get all close to each other, just like in the opening.
Yeah.
And we get a flashback of a young Kuzan asking a young Garp, a strapping young, like 30-something-year-old Garp here.
Mm-hmm.
What would we call it? Like extra widescreen, or would this be like 33 millimeter film? Where it's like,
oh, the 2.35 aspect ratio?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's even thinner. I feel like the anime has done this a bunch lately with flashbacks. I think it's a great motif, like how the manga will do black gutters for a flashback. I like the anime doing like going even thinner to show like this is like we're taking you out of the moment here.
Yeah, the letterboxing.
Yes.
And it's Kuzan's asking Garp to train him, and Garp's like, "No, I don't have time for you." But Kuzan tries to kind of train alongside Garp anyway, and like punches at the ship that the other ship that Garp isn't punching. But he's like hurting his hand on the ship because he's a normal human being. And Garp's like, "Hey, no, you're doing it wrong. You're not supposed to use hockey. You won't really train that way." And Kuzan's like, "I wasn't even using hockey. I can't yet." And we flash forward a little bit to sometime after the Ohara incident has happened. The same scene, but it's in winter. Kuzan's just like thinking out loud to himself about justice and Ohara. And then in the background, Garp is just yelling and venting his frustrations and punching a ship and complaining that his son has decided to become a revolutionary.
I want to talk about like this kind of stretch of scenes. The use of lighting is extraordinary. It's I don't necessarily know what time of day. This is probably like early afternoon, like maybe like 12 o'clock, because like the sun looks like it's directly above like Kuzan when Kuzan first approaches Garp. So like there's shadow like underneath like the brim, the peak of his hat, and like underneath his jaw. And then when he goes up to a ship to start doing the punching bag stuff, he's completely engulfed in the shadow of that ship, and they, consistent with that, like he doesn't have any harsh shadows, and it's just it looks really good. And then like the post Ohara stuff, just like it's even like Kuzan in the shadow of the ship, it's even darker. It's very dramatic, very, I hate to say cinematic, but this feels like movie quality lighting,
and I
like color design.
The kind of dreary coldness of the winter is a very cool look, and it's kind of interesting that this would be technically post Kuzan getting a devil fruit, post his because his motto when he was young was hot-blooded justice, and then he became lazy justice sometime after Ohara. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting that he like grew out of his hot-blooded title, both because he's an ice guy now, and because he's been demoralized. And let's see, I have to catch myself back up in my notes. Okay. Oh, and the Vincent Chanzard scene here, where elsewhere, another point in time, Garp is complaining to Kuzan about his grandson wanting to become a pirate, and they're like in a marine office, and Garp he went pretty wild.
Is this all Vincent? This whole
that's the one it's been accredited to him from what I looked into.
Because I usually like, because Vincent Chanzard tends to, well, he does a whole breadth of stuff, but like he's done so much, actiony stuff, like with, Wano. I adore the acting in this. Just the physicality of it. Even Garp, like his face is like, the way it moves is very unnatural, but it's like, who cares?
It gets bigger at one point while he's like in the middle of yelling, and like I was on the fence. Like, this is like a situation where like I don't know if I like it, but I respect it, if that makes sense.
I admire it for sure.
Yeah. It's like way out there. It's like way more like the way the animation's detailed, the way that the it's like cartoony, but also like the movement itself is so like hyper specific and detailed, and everyone's like floating around and swaying, and their faces are
it's not
it feels like
it's not grounded, but it's exaggerated, which I think I like,
It feels
even down to like the eyebrow raising that Garp does. I love it.
Yeah, like it feels like kind of like, so if it feels like something that would have been like a novel commercial or something, like the Hungry Days. I don't know why Hungry Days, it makes me think of that, even though that's a completely different style. But just kind of like it had that feeling, like there should have been like a cup noodle logo in the corner or something. There should have been some like pretty insert song and in the present they're bantering like you've trained a troublesome pupil, and Garp says, well, you're expelled, which is just a great exchange. And then they hit each other in the face. They do the
Rocky 3.
Yeah.
So many Easter eggs in this punch. You get like the reflection of younger Garp in Kuzan's sunglasses. I don't know, who knows when they started working on this episode, but you have like that brief flash of like Kuzan and Garp going in for like that handshake, and it looks so much like that Cyclops and Ryu Marvel vs. Capcom collection thing. When that got announced, it's almost the same pose. And I'm like wondering, and I'm like, were they inspired by that? But these are worked on like months ago. But that was months ago, so who knows?
Yeah, humongous explosion, and Garp. They're both sent flying, but Garp is clearly taking this hit, and this is just in time for Avalo Pizarro to wake up, and his big arms are lifting, his big limbs, his big just giant islandy body parts are rising, and big giant hands come down to squash all of our friends. He's like, I'm gonna be the one who's gonna kill the Marines, and then he's like dropping his hand in slow motion, and he will continue to be doing so for the next episode. To be continued. And there's a little Thin Edison conversation about Kuzan at the end of this episode. Then we turn to episode 1122, The Last Lesson, Impact Inherited. And we get another flashback of Kobe negotiating with Blackbeard on, I presume, Amazon Lily. And Blackbeard has like a bunch of Marine ships and 800 men, and Kobe's like, hey, if you let them all go, take me instead. Do we have a deal? And Blackbeard agrees. He's like, oh, that's bold, but you're right. You are worth more to us.
I forgot the series of events. I thought like the reason why Blackbeard gave up on Hancock was because Kobe gave himself up right then and there. But
yeah, it seems like there must have been a fight. Rayleigh showed up and scared him off.
Rayleigh showed up, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess Blackbeard on the coast like rounded up some Marines, and then Kobe's like, hey, take me instead.
Yeah. Very human sacrifice of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then another point in time, training in like a Marine classroom with Garp sometime during East Blue.
This is such a great addition. I know this is like briefly in the manga, but
yeah, I remember the conversation a lot.
Yes,
I remembered this,
but I don't think like we showed like the
visuals, the diagram.
First stage Kobe, of the 3-stage Pokemon evolution that is Kobe. But this is
so
I thought this was really cool because we don't really see like a classroom setting much in One Piece. So this is very unique.
And Garp says, lesson 1. If you have to decide between saving an old person and a young person, you only have one choice, then what do you do? And Garp believes very strongly that you save the baby. The old person does not have much time left. The baby has a whole future ahead of him. So what, and everyone's kind of gawking at this answer. Like that's really kind of edgy, sensei. There's like that one like assistant teacher off to the side, like, Garp, shush. Don't talk like that. But Garp is drilling them. He's asking them about their beliefs, about their values. What did you guys join the Navy to save? Is his question. And then like I like how the title card of the episode like slams in, like almost like it's presenting itself as the answer.
Yeah.
To his question, to his rhetorical question. And we're in the present day, and we got this like title card introducing Pirate Island Beehive, but it's like hanging out, it's like floating underneath Pizarro's hand, which is an interesting effect. And Kobe is like hands on his head, having an anxiety attack about the impending attack. And Kobe, he hears Garp's voice seemingly in his head. Garp is like also just kind of like on the ground, bleeding out, giving his men orders, but like some of it seems to be, like psychic. Like everyone's just sort of like on the same page intuitively, or it's like an observation hockey thing. And Kobe, Groose, and Helmeppo, they all seem to have like a simultaneous like observation hockey prediction future of like what will happen if they don't save everybody and follow Garp's orders to destroy the hand. Let's see here. I am getting a time running out message. We have 10 minutes. Okay, I think we can do it.
We can do it.
So yeah, they're running up the arm. Groose is asking Kobe, because Garp told Kobe specifically, hey, you focus on destroying the hand. And so Groose is, while they're on the way up to the hand, Groose is asking Kobe, like, okay, so do you have a bomb or something? Is that why he told you to do it? And Kobe's like, I don't know. I just have to think of something, I guess. Helmeppo tanks a cannonball. Rest in peace, Helmeppo. Garp gets back up to Kuzan's surprise, like they're staring each other down. Kuzan looks like he's seen a ghost. He's like, I'm worried about you, man.
Now he's worried.
Yeah, now he's worried, and Garp's like, you're too soft, which is cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And Garp launches forward, but he just like goes right past Kuzan and like is zigzagging through the city at Mach speed. And his real target is Pizarro, the big face, the big castle.
The island Mr. Clean.
Yeah. Galaxy divide, and then just huge explosive punch to Pizarro, punching a bunch of debris into him. That brings us to the eye catch of the episode, and we come back, and Pizarro is getting mad. He's not like completely down for the count after that. And I like this shot of Pizarro, like he's like inside the castle. He's like you can see him kind of with this wood pattern over him, like he's merged with like the room inside the castle, inside the stone. And he's speeding up his giant hand. Just I'm gonna slam you twice as hard now. And another flashback between Garp and Helmeppo. And they're talking about how Kobe, Garp's telling Helmeppo, like, hey, look after Kobe. He learns quickly, but he gets hurt easily. And Kobe is skywalking to the end of the hand, like all the way to like the tip of the finger. And then like I was not entirely clear through the direction of the scene, like what was going on. Like Like he gets to the hand, he's skywalking, and then there's like a red light glow, and everyone kind of reacts, and then Kobe's like free falling. You'd think he's about to do something, but instead he's just falling, and then he falls for like a really really long time, just like flopping in the wind. The animation's interesting, like it looks cool, but just goes on for a while of like Kobe's arms and legs just like flopping around. But it seems like he's using the fall to build momentum to do a big giant Garp-like attack called Honesty Impact, and that successfully blows the arm to smithereens and turns it into a bunch of debris chunks. And Groose, who is yes, Steve.
I would say like with the Kobe falling, yeah, it was definitely like interesting, and it's like the animation I think didn't nail all of it because it's a little jumpy here and there, but I think it's kind of meant it's like if any normal person, because Kobe I guess is a little more relatable, at least right before this big punch he's falling, and it's like all that wind, just like all that rush is like knocking them all over the place, because it's just like it's your loose limbs, because I think like One Piece, like gravity kind of goes out the door in a lot of these action sequences, this episode in particular.
I understand why his arms are flopping. I just like I don't understand if I'm supposed to interpret that like he's falling on purpose and that's like how he's building momentum, or
I think so. I think he's just trying to line himself up, but it's also kind of like
because he's like falling beneath the hand so that he can punch the hand.
Yeah, like when I saw it, I was kind of like at first I was confused because I thought, okay, he's trying to get rid of the hand, but then does he want to get to the ship first and then jump back up and then do something about the hand? So when he was free falling like that, I was pretty confused. I was like, wait. And then, he has this despair in his mind. If I don't do it, everybody's gonna die. Everything. And so it was kind of tense at the same time.
Yeah, I was like trying to understand, like, what am I supposed to understand about what the Kobe's plan was here and what he did. But Groose, who was put on debris duty to catch the falling chunks of stone after Kobe destroys the hand. He makes a web of mud called the Glorp web. And he catches the.
I feel like it wouldn't catch as much debris as it looks.
Yeah, some of it would fall through.
Yeah,
they're pretty. The netting is pretty wide.
I don't envy someone having to draw all that spider web. So,
and everyone's like cheering and relieved, and Helmeppo's having these happy memories of his time with Kobe, and it gives us this like kind of collage of old anime screens, like just like a bunch of like a Truman Show wall of memories.
Yeah, and in the original animation too.
There's another memory later where they have like a flashback to the old animation. They just keep the 4x3.
I jumped ahead, I think.
Well, there's that too.
Oh, yeah.
They had the old animation there, and then there's another scene where they.
What was that?
In full screen, they put the old 4x3 image in there.
I thought that was a redraw, and it was purposely 4x3.
Oh, was?
Yeah, it is. Like that's not the old animation. That's like a redraw, but I think it's staged exactly how it was in the original anime, if I'm not mistaken. Or I was wondering, I'm like, is this more like the manga? But yeah, the choice to deliberately make it 4x3 felt very fourth wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially after like everything else is doing the 2.35.
Yeah.
Earlier. Yeah. So, and everyone's cheering. Everyone's happy. This is going to be a little crass, but when Hibari hugs Kobe, like she's got cake. Like they.
Oh, okay.
I accept the disappointment. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's okay. I was just because when you brought up cake, and I was just like, wait, okay.
Anyway, that was important enough to me to write down. And so Tashigi receives a call on the transponder snail, and it's Garp on the other end. We get the waveform for the snail, the call. So like a waveform effect of like going chick ching, and then the talking, and then eventually the hang up as well. And he's like, yeah, the mission is a success. We saved Kobe. We saved the prisoners. All of the Marines except for me got out. You're free to go, everybody. And everyone's like suddenly getting all worried about him. Like, what about you, Captain, Vice Admiral? And we get some flashbacks to the first conversation at the beginning of the episode about the old man and the child. And well, it's the teacher lady in like another room, like chewing Garp out. And this is a scene that Kuzan also happened to be there for, to overhear and like kind of like smile at his mentor's crassness. And so we're connecting the dots here, right? He when he says leave the old man in that previous example, he was full and ready to mean himself as well. The final shot of the episode is Garp on the ground with an icicle spear through him. The Blackbeard pirates are kind of circling around him. It's clearly a lost scene for him, but he's smiling through it. He's proud of his pupils. He's proud of himself. He wouldn't have it any other way. And then the narrator comes in and describes the next day. The newspapers reported the survival of the young naval hero Captain Kobe, and the disappearance of Vice Admiral Garp, the legendary hero on the pirate island. All right, general thoughts on these two episodes. Chika, Steve.
Chika, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so the first episode, I was just thinking, oh my gosh, Garp and Kuzan are like so fine, right? Like I was just like, oh, this is so nice.
Good to have you back, Chika.
I was like, they're so fine. Ooh, look at this flashback. They're even fine then too. They've just been fine all their lives. Now, I wouldn't say I would be like Al Pacino's girlfriend, because that feels like elder abuse. But I would get it if Garp had like another like extra child like on the side or something, because if Al Pacino can have another child, Garp can too. So I was like, oh, they're just so good looking. But no, of course, that's not really the purpose of the episode. I mean, outside of them being fine, I think it was just
what inspired Al Pacino? What?
Al Pacino has a girlfriend, or used to have a girlfriend, and she's 29, and she just had his fourth child. And Al Pacino's like 80 something. I don't think
Robert
the
De
baby's
Niro
a year
had a
old.
child recently.
Yeah, and him too. I don't know
I
why.
hear about this.
They're competing.
They're competing, but it's just like, both of y'all about to be in diapers. I don't think this is a good idea. But with
While they're
Garp
in the
and
house,
Kuzan, I mean, true. But then Garp and Kuzan, I was like, yeah, like I see it. But then they were fighting each other. I was like, no, okay, have to pick sides. So I'm going with the family. Yeah, I don't know. It was just really emotional to just see Garp and seeing also Kobe's perspective as well. Because I mean, Kobe is a hero, but then at the same time, it's like he's still struggling and internally, like with making decisions and doing these things. So I really liked seeing Garp activate all three of them to take action. So that's what I liked about that, the one episode. Then the last one, I was just very emotional because I was just like, oh my gosh, not Garp. Come on now. And then they cut his stomach, and he likes to eat. I was like, oh, this is not a good time. But I think overall I was really proud of Kobe, like doing the honesty, impact, and knocking the hand out of the way, and all of them coming together. Because I mean, when Helmeppo got the cannon, he was acting like he was gonna die too. I was like, bruh, like Okay, but he didn't. So did that air swimming to go get Kobe. And so I thought that was nice as well, just to see like their bond in the flashback. And so it's like Helmeppo knows how like huge it is for Kobe to have been able to manage this like great punch and stuff. And I liked the action scenes. I love the scene. I know this was in the other episode where like Kuzan and then Garp were like did the punch and it was like fireworks. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I love that. But yeah, it was just very emotional. And I hope we get to see more. I mean, I hope we get to see more Garp when the season opens again in a couple of months.
Thank you, Chika. Steve?
A great batch of episodes to watch back to back, as I jokingly called it earlier, the Sword Saga or the Garp Jr. Saga. If you're a long time listener or just a Dragon Ball Z fan, some really great stuff. I enjoyed so many of the flourishes. Even when I look at this and think like, oh, like One Piece fighting has gotten so over the top and is just trying to, it's definitely trying to compete with modern anime. I don't know. I don't watch JJK and other stuff, but I'm pretty sure this is what a lot of their fight scenes are like. So
no, not really.
No? Okay.
There's like one blowout episode that's kind of like this, but
okay. But gravity goes out the window. There's a lot of auras and I think a lot of it's always implied. Like Garp isn't actually like firing like a big ki blast. It's just like it's meant to like invoke like
those flying sword slashes.
Yes.
And
yeah. Like I think maybe even like we've talked about this and maybe with like Henry Thoreau or something in the past, but it's like it's more implied than it is actual literal. But I can't help but still be like, this looks great, this is cool. But just like some really great stuff, some really great direction. Like I gushed about some of like the color and the lighting earlier. The compositing is fantastic. I enjoy the little Easter eggs, even though they're like a millisecond on screen. You have to watch this in slow motion to see them, but I guess like it almost feels like the Simpsons bit with the long credits, and they wrote in the joke like, if you're reading this, you have no life. But they do it because they want people to look for them. So but what a great little story coming out of this full ed or beehive, whatever you want to call it at this point now. I think the anime like really kind of soared with this. Not soared, but soared. Flew. Just some really fun stuff, and just like some interesting choices and just direction overall, and just like some really great animation. And it was brutal. The last scene with Garp with the impalement and like all the other pirates standing over him, and Kuzan especially covered in ice to show like, oh, he's stone cold doing this. It tells so much without having to put it into words. It's some really great choices here. I'm pretty sure it was like that in the manga too, but it just really stood out to me in the anime. But this was a really great note to go out on. At least with the canon material. I know we'll probably be back for the next anime recap with this special next week. But really great stuff. This was really entertaining, and I felt like it rewarded like longtime fans or just those that remember the story, because seeing a lot of like pre glow up Kobe, it brought me back thinking like, oh yeah, even though this animation is so crazy and over the top now, this is still One Piece. This is still that same old series. This is still the nerdy kid who I thought was probably going to be in the main cast and I wasn't going to like. And he's come so far. Great stuff.
Yeah, the thing that's just standing out to me so much is just how good the character work is for Garp and Kuzan. Like you can kind of spend these two episodes almost like alternating between like which one are you rooting for, which one are you like kind of you vicariously kind of vibing with some empowerment through. like when they get the upper hand on each other or have something cool to say, or like you love them both and you understand why they're fighting. And just like the whole, the philosophy of like, the justice being about, the future, right? Which is like a very high stakes thing, especially with this character that we've known for so long seemingly being taken out of the picture. And I guess the other thing, sometimes we try to be coy about like what talking about too far ahead in what happens in the manga. I was kind of bummed recently when they showed that Garp was alive and in prison, like, because I think that this would be such an incredible actual death scene if this is all, if that was the end, if all the last we heard is Garp's disappearance in the newspaper. I think that would be a pretty amazing ending to that character. But
it's and I don't care about spoilers, the movie's been out for so long. It was like the characters dying because of the blip at the end of Infinity War. And it's like, and people were like, we're so sad about Spider-Man, and I'm like, they just announced that they're making another Spider-Man. It's like they're coming back. It's comic books,
Yeah, I just I find this cliffhanger so emotionally interesting.
Yeah, it did nerf it a little bit, that recent manga chapter. But I think it's not like, I don't think anything would have prevented that. Oda's taken plenty of breaks, so I think like if he didn't, we would have known a lot sooner. But I don't know. And then we could have had another situation on our hands where the anime had me convinced Yamato was joining the crew. So
no, I think it would have been cool if it was. I think if they left it vague, like you just don't know for a longer period, then that would have been really nice, because then everybody would just be anticipatory. Like, is he? Isn't he? And then
Well, they're doing that with like Pedro right now, it seems, and they're doing that with a lot of characters. I think.
Pretty sure Pedro's dead.
I think so too, but like my confidence in that belief has wavered.
No, it's I would expect that more from the Toki people, but
and
what
then
Toki
he
people?
was
What are you talking about, Steve?
The people that think Toki's still alive.
Oh,
and who are those people? Who
Zach?
Who have
Logan.
you had?
Though I will say, I thought about like, because Toki's powers, she could only jump,
send people forward.
Yeah, she could only jump forward and send people forward, right? Yeah, she's dead. Yeah, she's dead. Anyway, sorry. Chika,
we don't see her die.
No, watch the anime again.
The anime. Oh yeah, the anime that convinced you Yamato was joining.
First of all, sound of a body falling, and then they even talk about the anime that she's dead. I rewatched it recently, Sam.
A person can't just faint.
She's dead. She's so dead.
Yeah. No,
she didn't quantum leap. She is dead. Chika, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say, if they had left Garp's like fate more vague, it would have been really cool, because like it's like ending it on that laugh, right? And so like with
he's a D, he's dying smiling, right?
Right. So and that's what I was thinking of when I saw it. I was just like, wait, hold on a second. But I don't know. I don't like Garp being in prison, but then I didn't want him to die. But
you don't like him being dead either.
I don't like him being dead. I don't really like him being in prison. I would just say come back to it later. But either way.
All right. Anything else you guys would like to share about these 2 episodes before we move on to the next segment?
I'm all good.
Nope.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Chika.
Thank you, Sam.
Let's move on to the next segment.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories, and if we don't like them, that's it. Back to Elbath. First segment here, Ed.
Well, Zach, that's always this piece.
I'll go through the disc piece this week because I feel like I could always. First one comes from SNP, who says, "Hey OPP, One Piece is crazy good this week. Instant cry for 3-week break. So it's 2 weeks off, and then it's back that following week. I forget.
New chapter in 21 days from today.
Yes. For those listening before
you record on Sundays. Yes.
Yeah. So 20 days from if you're listening at release date. So the bounty inflation is real, and do you think it is Mercury, Godhead of Justice's fault for not being able to catch all these criminals 100 years ago, or Venus Jiro, the Godhead of Finance, for everyone's price going up? Yes. But seriously, the question, give us your prediction for what the legendary devil fruit that Loki ate, both serious and joke answers. So you have to have two answers.
Well, he thinks it's the sun god fruit, and he's wrong because he's an idiot.
Wow, you have opinions on Loki, and
exactly.
He literally has done nothing.
He ate the Disney IP fruit.
Ooh. So he has to be blurred out for the rest of the.
Now he's
this isn't my idea.
Loki.
I saw this on Twitter from someone, but someone said, "What if he ate the gum fruit and he has stretchy powers and he thinks he's Nika? Like if the gum fruit is actually a real fruit."
Yeah. I kind of like that.
Okay. It's kind of.
I don't think
There's
that's
no
what
such
it is.
thing, but there is,
and
it's on Elbath. No one
if
knows about it.
Yeah, if Oda's pulling from Norse mythology though, and it's Loki, I could see it being like the Fenrir fruit, like the giant wolf.
Yeah.
Because that there's a whole thing in Norse mythology of the wolves that chase the sun and the moon, and sun god, moon god. I can see something there being there.
Do you know what would suck for him? The Viking fruit, and he just turned into a Viking.
Damn. Yeah.
Next question comes from Sailor Karna's Universal, who says, "Hey OPP, now that Loki has finally been revealed, I know he's going to rise up in the popularity polls, finally giving us ladies what we want. And he's in chains. 2 emojis, the smirk emoji and the wink emoji.
I need to see more before I determine if he's hot. He's pulling us away from our focus, which should be Frankie. That's the real looker. Yeah.
Bring it back to Mr.
Cunty Flam.
I refuse to say that. Next question says, King Doji. I don't have those 45 minutes. Hey, OPP. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The crew arrives at a long-awaited destination, and the first thing Luffy does is run into the royal heir who is restrained for some reason. This must be the Fishman Island remaster that we're talking about last week. Anyway, who is the best new giant warrior pirate, and why is it Goldberg? You're right. Although I think Vero might have different opinions.
Well, it's Goldberg because he's got the Vicky the Viking hair.
Yeah, Goldberg's great. Love him.
He's the goalie.
I like Gerd's outfit. It's cute,
Yeah, I like the what are they? Pigtails? Not pigtails.
The braids.
Long
braids.
Yeah, the Viking braids.
I'll learn about girls' haircuts soon. Maybe.
By necessity.
Usapti Great says, "Hey ho OPP, so the X is an important link here. Are your tattoos tingling too?" That would be for Steve, I guess.
Yeah.
I would go to the doctor if you're tingling.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta call my artist and be like, "Hey, why is it? I thought it was healed."
Yeah, my arm like immediately shot up.
Like you're being puppeted.
Good thing no one was near me, otherwise I would accidentally smack somebody.
How did that person get behind me? This looks like a setup. Continues. This looks like it's a setup that Luffy is going to free Loki. I mean, why not? But that new anime episode where we see regular civilians and how they're affected by the Straw Hats is the underlying theme that was well done here and mentioned at times by Oda. I'm assuming we will get more info like this from Oda because the revolution that Luffy will bring requires a lot of people to buy in and want the freedom he promises, and putting it in the period before the Fishman Island arc is a perfect tie-in. Love the animation. There was a hard turn there with no... I didn't realize, but there's no like paragraph break or anything. Yeah. We talked about it and we
Yeah,
will
Luffy's
talk
not
about
winning
more
over
of it.
hearts and minds all the time.
Luffy is usually pretty good. I was thinking that theme of Luffy just like affecting people and bringing him onto his side was very present in that special, and I guess potentially here as well. So maybe there's. Big Mike says, "Hey OPP, what female character is your Oshi, or at least who are you rooting for, and why is Vero about to choose Nami? And Hope plays a big role in the series. For example, Hancock is my Oshi, and I hope she takes out Big Mom in the final war and shows us what a real woman can do. I still get nightmares of Big Mom trying to kill me."
I think
Therapy.
mine is Margaret from the Kuja Warrior. She should be the next Pirate Empress.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if Carrot is any indication, it's going to be some random person.
I mean, Game of Thrones did it, so
That's no reason to do anything.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, who's your Oshi?
I mean, my
The
Oshi.
question was, who's your Oshi? Yeah.
The girl you really like.
What is Oshi
Who do
again?
you stan?
Wow, you did not listen to last week's podcast.
No,
Like you're
Who do you who do you stan? Who's your girl? Who's your number one?
oh, like who's like my like who's on like my girl stable or something like that? Like who's like
Gross.
The correct answer is Sanji. Steve's Oshi is Sanji. So
I mean, I like a lot of characters. I'll tell a story out of the podcast. For some reason, like I guess like I was over at Sungwon's and he had like a deck of cards from I think Tokyo Tower when he went in
Name
2019, and they were yeah, I do that. So what are you doing? Name who are you hanging out with?
My children and my wife.
Your family, a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, but I live in a
No,
big bed with my family, just like in
Cool.
Willy
Yeah,
Wonka.
my beautiful family. Just having a nice
I live in a
time.
big bed that I have all to myself.
Well, fuck you.
No, like, well, there were a deck of cards that were based off of the previous popularity poll before the worldwide one. Because like Farah, it was like on one of these cards, but all the cards had like all of like the top 50 characters, and he was like, "Screw it, let's just do a tier list right now." And we just made a makeshift tier list right there on a table, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I just like One Piece too much. Like, I don't hate anybody. Maybe not you, but
who's your number one?
Who's my number one?
Yeah.
Sanji. It's Sanji.
I mean, I
It
guess
is
it's
Sanji.
Sanji. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about
That's
like
his best
obscure
girl.
pick, but if you want to talk about like obscure picks, like Margaret is definitely, one of my like obscure favorites. Absolutely. I mean, like, but like Pearl, I guess would be like number one. It's like, have your
What about-
Trafalgar Laws and your Eustace kids. I'll just take my Pearl.
What about the square-jawed guy from what's his name? Mashikaku.
Mashikaku.
Yeah, from
He stopped
Lockdown.
showing up.
Maybe he'll show up in the next Ishitani special.
We know Ken's Oshi for sure.
No, I have no idea.
Who raid you?
Oh, I was gonna say I thought we were transcending gender, so I was gonna say Yamato. I was like I didn't
Yeah,
know.
no, I'm just.
You're fucking with.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
You got
I don't
my
think gender
ass.
plays into
All
this.
the raid you merchandise back here. Come
I was
on.
about to be like, have I been missing out on the timeline, suppressing your?
I was gonna say
love?
Sarfunkel, but okay.
Don't bring up Sarfunkel, please.
Our
Don't
true
we- don't-
love.
Next
Exactly your
question.
girl. No, I want to know.
I said Sarfunkel.
Oh.
No, Tashigi?
That's a great pick.
Yeah. I
Fantastic.
think
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's a good choice. I have others probably, but I'd have to think.
No,
about it.
Tashigi's best girl.
That's the first one that popped up in my head. She's great and doesn't show up in the series enough, and when she does, they don't utilize her well. And by they, I mean Oda. Next question. Reverse inflation. I like that one. Hey, Owl Pet Piper. How come none of these giants are cold at all? Gerd is wearing her little dress, and both Goldberg and probably Loki aren't even wearing shirts. Are capes really that good at keeping you warm? Or are giants so tough? This is
Well,
my
Goldberg
answer.
is quite padded. He's got a lot of insulation.
I think it's like those people who like take the plunge, in like January into like the cold water. Like these people are built for it. They're used to it. This is a really stupid tangent, but there was a video I watched on Vox or something about how when you get used to the cold more, you build up something, I think it's called brown fat in your body that makes you more resistant to the cold.
Cold plunges for rich weirdos.
Yeah. I agree with it.
Like the guy who gets his blood infused, this kid's blood or whatever.
Oh. Yeah.
Next question. Sun God number 3 says, God, everyone. Ahoy, OPP. Boy, there are a lot of sun gods on Elbaf, hey?
Yes.
But by the end of the arc, only one will be left standing. Now, my question with the giant captains getting new bounties, do you think the Straw Hats got new ones as well? And if so, will Choppers be a 9-figure bounty? No, 4 at most. Or is it 4 now? I think it's 4. I think it's like $10.
It's 100 berries, isn't it?
No, didn't it go up to 1,000? I think it went up to 1,000, which is still nothing.
Which is 4 digits.
Yeah. No, never. He's never going to get a big bounty.
Unless Straw Hats did go up.
Unless the guy from Fan Letters has any say in the bounties.
Right.
Because I know he wants him. Forget the guy's name. Any other thought on any of that? Okay, no more sun gods then. The Accursed Prince, parenthetical spooky, says, Ahoy, OPP. I finally remembered to send in a disc piece after a short week off. Banger chapter as always. Elbaf! We're finally here. I've waited 13 years for this, and I'm genuinely giddy, and what a gorgeous spread, too. Interesting that Hyrule was crown prince of the country, and that Loki essentially usurped him. My question is unrelated, and probably something you've already discussed. Is Vivi's time quickly approaching? We've seen the X return, and it's something only the separated crew understand, so it makes me think, ... Have a great week. Yeah, I think even through Egghead, we were talking about how Vivi's return felt imminent, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Last disc piece. Wisdom Pythagoras said, Hey, OPP, what a chapter. Oda seems to have shown us all of Elbaf, aside from the very top of the tree. Do you think there's even more to it up there? I'm going to go with yes. But is there snow at the top of the tree? I meant to ask. First of all, why wouldn't there be? Because it's a winter island.
I'm checking.
And there's also waterfalls.
Yeah, it is whiter up on the top. It could just be snow. I thought it was clouds, but it could be snow, yeah.
Well, are those waterfalls or ice like frozen? It's very
It gives the illusion of running water.
Yeah.
I love all the rainbows in the background too. It reminds me of like Neverland a little bit.
Rainbows.
Yeah, if you look at where the sword is and look to the left of the sword, there's some rainbows.
Those are rainbows? Oh, those are rainbows. I did not see that. I should have zoomed in more. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on there. Lots of cannons. I mean, makes sense. Very excited to see more. I'm sure we could get a lot more color spreads, not color spread, 2-page spreads just like this too, because of how stunning the landscape is.
Should we bring up the spelling of Elbaf finally?
Should we? Yeah, Ken.
I know for years, like the people, either Scandinavians or whatnot, always spelled it like Fable, spelled backwards, Elbaf, and now Oda's official like spelling in the manga was Elbaf, Elbaph, and that's what the Viz went with originally, and now Oda is doing that as well. So I think that's finally the official confirmed spelling. After everyone was like, "Oh, it's supposed to be Fable backwards," but that was never really.
Well, I gotta tell my friend Mary Joie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mary Joie from Secaucus, you're on the air.
Mary Joyce from Secaucus.
Secaucus. There.
I take the PATH train into Manhattan. God, your father. And your father, he walks so slow.
My new favorite Steve Yurko character is this person.
Mary Joyce, everybody.
Let's see. Let's move on to the blue sky, because the blue sky does exist. What do we got? I don't think we got a ton. This is the first one comes from Trick or Treat the TM or Trick the TM. It says, this has been going through my mind since Vegapunk's message. Could the story of the All Blue have been actually someone trying to warn the people about the flooding, turning all the seas into one sea, and the world government manipulating it into a fairy tale?
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I do too.
I think we should call this segment the All Blue Sky.
Well, then you're doing a lot of different things, but sure, we could figure that out. That was actually our only Blue Sky comment. But please, we're trying to give a middle finger to the person who owns Twitter, as it's only going to be called. So please comment and follow us on Blue Sky if you haven't. It's just at onepiecepodcast.com.
Is this the untimely end of Piece the Tweet?
Probably. It probably should be. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go on Twitter, I assume. Probably.
On the same chapter where an X has a major role.
It's ironic. X marks the death.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the Piece Together segment when we round off and play Ken's version of Yaoi Thunderdome.
Oh boy.
Ooh. Fun.
This has been the One Piece podcast for October 21st, 2024, and we're spelling it in all capital letters because that's how you get the... Anyway. Thank you all for coming on the show. Ed had to take off, but big thanks to Ed, of course, for coming on the show. Mike, thank you. Ken, thank you. Vero, Steve. Actually, we should go through how to find you.
Oh, no thanks for us.
I said Vero and Steve. Vero, where can people find you? I said all of your names. Zoom did that, if anything.
Zach's just being Clinty tonight.
I'm being Clinty every night. No,
you can find me on Blue Sky or Twitter. Not Twitter. Sorry, Tumblr. I'm hanging out. I went back to Tumblr. You can hang out with me on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Ginkgo Crown. If you don't know how to spell it, don't worry about it. It wasn't meant to be.
If you can't spell my name, you
people
don't get to follow
Ginkgo.
me.
They get the N and the K mixed up.
What Ginkgo biloba, guys? Ginkgo biloba. Ken, where could people find
sometimes I look up Vero online and it doesn't present me with their profile
on Twitter. Like, I think I'm shadow banned on Twitter.
Is that an actual thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, my friends who post pictures of their butt are shadow banned. I don't know why I am because I don't do that. So. Must be
are they part of the Egghead art?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oda's been shadow banned because of that. Ken.
You can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitch, and pretty much anywhere else online at KindKing01. And you can also find my work on the One Piece Art Collab Volume 2 at OP Collab on Twitter. We are done with submissions, and we are currently putting together the final collab. But if you want to see all the amazing artists and artwork there, go to OP Collab on Twitter.
God, now I'm on the Wikipedia page for Ginkgo biloba, but we'll get there. It's some interesting stuff. It's also known as maiden hair.
It's the oldest. It's the oldest tree.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Obviously. Trees are great as the colors as the 2-page spread at the end teaches us. Maybe this is a ginkgo. Mike, where could we find your trees?
My trees are in my yard. But if you want to find my work, Instagram's probably the best bet. So that's Patten, Patten _pending. I'm still on Twitter. I was off Twitter for a long time just because I wasn't able to log on, but I got my logon back and it still kind of sucks. So I don't know. I'm not on it that much. I don't like Blue Sky much better, so I feel like my posting days are just dwindling. But if you do follow me on any of those, it's still patent pending. But what am I doing on there these days? I'm talking a lot about. I'm getting really into programming TV channels. So I'll probably be talking a lot about that. It's been fun as hell, but it's like learning a new language, so that's been an ordeal. But I got some channels running today. I got a 24/7 Simpsons channel going. I got a 24/7 Halloween channel that has a bunch of like old commercials and shorts and stuff on it. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Steve.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I also do art for a podcast called Domance Dawn. If you like The Simpsons and you like One Piece, check that out. I post them all on Instagram, and you can find Domance Dawn wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's really just made for Steve and Alex. That's really it.
Well, Alex was the one who told me they were looking, so.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mike. Steve, where can people find you?
I thought it was me.
It was both of you.
Okay. Like, Alex, screw him.
Alex posted in the Discord, and then you also said something.
Yeah, I think, sorry not to reveal too much behind the scenes. I think one of them messaged me, and I mentioned you.
Sure. So. Hey, thank you. Well, thank you for doing it.
You're very welcome, and thanks for doing the image this week.
I'm almost done.
I'm on... Good. Love to hear it.
Is it Clinty enough?
Faster than me.
You tell me. Later.
Well, we'll find out right now. Listeners, please tell him. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I have my website, steveyurko.com. I'm on social media, just Steve Yurko, the good ones and the bad ones, I guess, for now. But if you're moving over to Blue Sky and you want to follow, you can find me on there. I'll try to post. I haven't been posting a lot. It's been a busy year, so... Other than that, listen to 4Kids Flashback, watch ProZD Plays Games, and that's it.
You can find me at zach.onepiecePodcast.com on Blue Sky, or you can find me searching the Great Gray Owl Wikipedia page or the Ginkgo biloba Wikipedia page. By the way, Great Gray Owl, I'm using my time to plug, also called Phantom of the North, the Spectral Owl, or the Bearded Owl. Very cool names. New favorite. He is terrifying looking, and I love it. He's serving up his Clint, whatever the hell is the. Yeah. Anyway, you can follow us at OnePiecePodcast.com. We have Greg's new series starting, coming out intermittently, but quickly, I think he said. So check out that 80-page treatise on OnePiecePodcast.com. And he posted the first of those parts on his Twitter as well, but the remainder will only be at our website for free. So do not worry. But if you want other cool stuff and you want to pay for it, it's on patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. And we highly recommend that you follow us there on Patreon. Let us know if there's anything else you want to see on there. Always up for, just doing more because the time I have. But yeah, patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast, alternate images, titles, exclusive stuff. And you could call us at our phone number that we won't answer. That's 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again, 347-497-6254. Call anytime. Any questions, comments, theories, or why you're the original Goldger baby.
Is that the thing your parents signed you up for when you were born?
We did it for Noah, and
they're still doing that?
They are, and he did not win, and I'm angry because he deserved it. I'm like objective.
He was a very cute baby.
And he's a very cute toddler, which he knows how to take advantage of. Really takes advantage. He negotiates. Anyway, I'll talk about my son later for 4 hours off the air. I just will always remember Alex saying at the live show, "We get it. You have a kid."
No, you can talk about your kids. It's okay.
Ken, you're in charge apparently. Please tell us the background here. What's going on? Why are you doing it and not Vero?
Well, Vero, do you want to lead in here, or should I just...
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a fine Sunday evening. It's a beautiful 69 degrees outside.
Nice.
Yo! Yep. And we really? Thought...
Wait, why am I asking you that? You're in a different place than me. It doesn't even...
I thought, you know what? I give, and I give so much. And today I want to receive. And, truthfully, I haven't been reading much fan fiction in a very long time, and I went, my numbers are rusty. I want to play the game. And both Mike and Ken were both very excited. They were like, Vero, you should come on. Let's do some Thunderdome. We'll have a great time. And I said, you know what? That sounds great. And then I don't remember who exactly proposed it. Maybe it was just a hive mind mentality, but I was like, Ken, you want to run it? And he said, fuck yeah, I do. So we screen shared. I showed him how I collect my data. Data? What the fuck? That wasn't data or data.
Is that how they say it in Florida?
Yeah, yes, sir. I can turn it on if you want me to.
Oh my God.
If you want to hear
Yes. No, actually. But yes.
Anyway, so Ken said that he's discovered things that no man should ever see. Ken, what have you found?
Well,
I don't know
first,
if I want to know.
I need to give you a lot of credit because navigating that site and like finding like pairs, not as easy as I thought it would be at first.
It's listen, AO3 is not made for profit. It's run by I think less than 10 people, and they literally just they I think most of the money that they do for fundraisers is just to keep the domain open so that people can access it. But the whole idea is they're like, we're not going to moderate this shit at all.
They're the Wikipedia of fan fiction.
Of fan fiction,
Yeah.
Exactly. They're
Good for
like,
them.
here's the website. You're on your own. Fuck you.
I don't partake, but I respect the game.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ken, take it away.
All
then.
right, so we have a bunch of pairings here, again, sourced from AO3. These are all, as Vero taught me, slash pairings. So these are romantically involved pairings, not friends or acquaintances or anything like that. Did not know that at first, so that was interesting.
Yeah. Ken, do you want to, let's say we have a listener today who's never been around for Yaoi Thunderdome. Do you want to give him a pitch of what we're doing?
Basically, I'm going to split everyone here into two pairs, two different teams, and I'm going to give them two different pairings of two different characters against two different characters, and they have to guess on AO3 which pairing has more stories written about them than the other. So if it's, let's say, Luffy and Nami and Luffy and Zoro, I plug them both in. I have exactly how many stories written about each character pairing. You guys need to guess which one has more, and then you'll reward a point if you get it right. And I guess, what do you want?
And if my team loses, they're taking me out back and putting me down like a dog.
Correct.
Like old Geller style.
Yeah. Because we were talking that Vero has not gotten to participate in the Yaoi Thunderdome before, so this is special for them, I think.
It is.
All right, so I broke it up here. Steve and Vero, I have you as one team, and then Mike and Zach, I have you as another team.
Oh, the couples.
Yes.
Oh, geez, yeah. What's your guys' couple name?
Zyke.
Zyke.
Zyke, baby.
It's a zeitgeist.
Oh, I don't like that.
All right, we're going Mac now.
That's also
I
good.
don't like that either.
It's Mac
Gotta
tonight.
have a Z. The Z is the best part of my name.
All right,
You gotta,
all right. Zykel.
Vive?
Oh, Zykel. I like that.
Zatin.
Do we like Vive
Zadin.
or Stero?
Ooh, Zadin.
I like Stero personally.
Yeah, really. It sounds.
I'm not trying to be funny. I just think it's a nice name.
Sounds a little platonic
Yurko.
for this game, though.
All right, so let's kick this off now. Let's not waste any more time.
Sure.
So, I originally pitched the idea I was going to do only Yamato pairing, so the entire thing. Not a lot. There's not enough. There's not a lot of Yamato pairings, but I did find enough and some obscure ones. So I did the Italian thing where it says 1 clove of garlic. I put maybe like 12 cloves of garlic in there. So there's a healthy dose of Yamato, but it's spread out throughout other pairings.
Good.
So Vero and Steve, I'll start off with you guys first.
Mm-hmm.
The first pairing, Ace and Yamato versus Bartolomeo Cavendish.
Oh, I know. But
What was the first one again?
Ace and Yamato versus Bartolomeo Cavendish.
And did you say this included friend fix, or
No,
is
it's
this
just romantic.
Just romantic.
I mean,
no one writing that. Ain't no one writing that much about Bartolomeo. It's
excuse
Yamato and Ace.
no. Barto Cav
Really?
is popular. Now,
Is that your pick?
well, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well, you're the breadwinner. Go ahead.
Okay, well, thanks, honey. I'm gonna put our money on Barto Cav, but here's the thing: I might just know like the 6 freaks out of the millions that like Bartok have. So if I'm wrong, you can't hold it against me.
I will.
All right, final answer?
Yes, Bartok have.
You are correct. Bartok
That surprises me because I have no
They
experience.
have the longevity.
It was close.
100% believe it.
What's the numbers?
Bartok Cavendish had 134. Ace Yamato 132. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hey, close.
That's not going to last much longer. The reign is over.
133 of those are all written by one person that I know. I guarantee you.
I think both of those are legitimate. Ships.
Yeah, they're both good.
Those are both.
I had to write several of the Yamato ones to get the numbers up here. So
Bartok is funny to me because I was like, oh, Oda's addicted to making Zosan, so he had to make some Zosan when he broke them up.
That's true. Yeah, I think we mentioned that. I think at the time too, because it definitely felt like that. Yeah.
All right, Mike and Zach, you ready?
No,
Zach,
but please continue.
Right.
The two of us are experts at this, I assume.
Your pairings are Robin Yamato versus Fujitora Ryokugu.
Okay, you obviously picked one that has like 3 and 6.
Nope, they both have more than that. So
is he allowed to say how much they have, like generally, before we know the answer, or no?
They're all pretty.
I'm going on bias.
Are we in single digits or double digits?
They both have double digits.
Okay,
I'm surprised.
I tried.
What was the first one? First one was
Robin Yamato.
That's
okay.
Crazy.
I thought
versus
okay.
Fujitora Ryokugu.
You gotta always go Yaoi, right? I
really
guess
think
it is with Yamato too, but
I really think it's Fujitora Ryokugu personally. Because I think
just
that
old men Yaoi though.
Yeah, I think that's popular. I think that we've seen them interact as a huge thing.
Watch Fujitora's like 36.
We don't have a lot of Robin and Yamato interactions, so I think there's not a lot to base it off of. But then there's some fun in that too, thinking what's gonna happen.
I mean, I would do the Fujitora.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm just seeing how old they are. Do you know how old Ryokugu is, by the way?
Not top of my head.
Any guesses?
He wasn't in this chapter.
41. 41.
Lemon party fruit. Sorry.
Oh, you took it there.
So, what's your final answer?
The admirals.
The old man.
That is incorrect.
Oh, son of a.
Robin Yamato has 14. Fujitora Ryokugu has 10.
The thing about old man Yaoi is they have
I feel like Robin
sexy.
and Yamato. Robin Yamato. Yeah, it's hot, but like I don't think they've ever shared a scene together.
They
It's
didn't share a
boring
scene. That's so surprising.
It's boring.
And I should mention, I only clicked on pairings that came up through I didn't search for pairings, just things that were listed besides. So
yeah,
sure. A listed pairing. So all right, back to Steve and Vero.
Hit me.
We have Luffy Yamato versus Hiyori Zoro.
It said Luffy Yamato.
It's got to be Luffy and Yamato.
What was the other one?
Hiyori Zoro.
Yeah.
Hiyori and Zoro.
Hiyori Zoro feels too much like of a straight ship. I feel like only like dude bros like that, and they ain't writing.
The girlies who write fanfic are not writing about Hiyori and Zoro, unless here's where I can do the tech that you guys don't know about. This, even if the fic is about a different couple, if they appear in the background, people will tag it and it'll appear. So let's say it's a fic about Yamato and Ace or something, but cheap. Hiyori and Zoro appear for 3 seconds in the background. Sometimes authors will still tag it, which is annoying because I'm like, what if I actually wanted to find a fic about them? But anyway,
if they are romantically paired in the background, I think that would still count.
But no, I'm saying there could be background inflation happening, because
it always comes down to economics here.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, because here's what I'm thinking in my brain right now. The amount of angsty Zosan fics that also tag Hiyori and Zoro, or because they appear as a couple to make Sanji jealous in the fic. This is the mind game that I'm playing. Anyway, it's not them, it's the other one.
What's the final answer?
What the hell? Which one is that? I don't remember.
Luffy and Yamato.
He said Luffy.
You'd be surprised.
No,
you are
not.
incorrect.
There's a lot of them. What?
I knew it.
Mind games were correct.
Luffy,
Why didn't
your
you
mind
tell me?
games were 100% correct. Luffy Yamato has 50. Hiyori Zoro has 109.
Holy shit! All of those have to fucking.
I'm assuming you're right with your mind game.
God
so.
damn it!
By the way, I see so much Zoro Hiyori crap on my timelines. I feel like so.
That's crazy. And they do actually have some shooters. So
Yeah, I mean, I have no opinion. I still think Zoro is either very gay or very asexual because he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. His response was funny, but clearly a sign. Yeah, Ken, go ahead.
All right, next up, we just to recap, Steve and Vero are at 1 point, Mike and Zach are at 0 points. All right.
Hey, we're catching up.
Yeah.
Mike and Zach, your next pairings are Nami Yamato versus Kuma Ginny.
Well, that's not even a ship. That just happened.
They never married.
Yamato. It was Yamato and
it
who?
was wedlock.
What was the first one again?
Nami and Yamato
Nami and Yamato.
versus Kuma and Ginny.
That's
I
a
hear
tough
that cat.
one. That's a tough one. Mike,
Martha, what do you think?
what does Martha think?
Oh,
Oh my God,
Oh my
strong
God.
opinions.
that's her saying the Nami ship.
That is, by the way, for those who don't know.
I probably think it's I don't know. I'm leaning towards Nami
picks up the
Yamato
mic.
personally. Yeah, because it was on the table. I didn't want to lean forward.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Kuma Ginny relationship more, but yeah,
It's only had like a year to stew.
it has not had a lot of time, and they're both side characters. Nami is a straw hat, which I think would increase it if I know Vero's logic with things. Yeah,
I would go
agree.
for that.
Yeah. I personally don't agree, but that's
Final answer being Nami Yamato?
Yeah, why not?
That is incorrect.
Man, cool.
This game is awful.
Ginny and Kuma have 17. Yamato and Nami have 16.
Wow.
Holy
It
shit.
was another close one.
You were just picking ones that are evil, though. You were playing this really, really.
I taught
evil.
him well.
You both said that Kuma and Ginny makes more sense. You like it one more, and you went against it. Like,
So you're saying I
they
should
think
go
you're
with my
playing mind
instinct?
games.
Go with my
Yeah,
heart?
I guess we gotta
I
start
don't
going
want
with
to give
our.
away answers, but I think
Yeah.
instinct makes sense for most of the ones that I picked.
No, but okay. My instinct as 37-year-old cis male is probably different than the general AO3 fan base.
Oh,
can't-
100%.
Understand the mind of a Fujoshi.
I gotcha.
Apparently.
No, I can't. That's what we're learning today. I can't. And by learning,
right.
I mean knew already.
Back to Stephen Vero. Your next pairing is Hiyori Yamato versus Vivi Sanji.
See, what do you think?
I know I've seen some like Hiyori and Yamato stuff
Yeah,
in
it's
the past.
popular.
I feel like it's like a select few, but like Vivi and Sanji's one I never ever see.
I've never seen
And that one doesn't have
But-
the benefit of like an angst pairing that could be put in. You know, like
Right.
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, nobody on Earth is shipping Vivi with that man. No one is subjecting her to that. Sorry, let me rephrase. No Vivi fans are subjecting her to Sanji. If you like Vivi enough to like her, you like her with Nami. Like that's all. Like so, I do think it is Yamato
Or Nami.
Hiyori.
Although I guess Nami would, just steal all his stuff and leave.
Wait, what?
I was just thinking of Nami and
Oh.
Sanji. Yeah.
Do you agree, Steve? Is that our final answer?
Hiyori and Yamato?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a risk.
Okay.
That is correct. Hiyori
Let's
Yamato have
go.
44. Vivi Sanji have 17.
I need to study the minds of those 17 people. I have to understand. I bet they could. You know what? Sorry, They could do some real fun, arranged marriage, royalty things happening there, but they can't end up together in the end.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
All right.
It's
Zach and Mike, we're getting away from the Yamato ones for a split second here. to do
Please.
Something different. All right. Pudding and Sanji versus Rob Lucci Pauly.
mm-hmm.
Pudding and Sanji versus Rob Lucci and Pauly.
I mean, my instinct is Pudding Sanji.
See, that's bad because my instinct is Rob Lucci, Pauly.
I know which one
So
Vero has. You don't have to. Vero's making lots of faces
here.
like I was freaking nuts. Like, I know you have an opinion. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I couldn't control my face.
You all said to follow your heart, and
Yeah.
that's where it leads. Is putting in Sanji versus the. I think Pauly's kind of lame, and I seem to be the only person here on this show who thinks
I
that.
can see a lot of putting in Sanji though. I think that's a very good writing prompt personally, but
And Vero, without you saying it, I already know everything you're going to say about why Pauly isn't lame, especially in fan fiction.
But I also think that
opinion.
there's a dynamic between Rob Lucci and Pauly that I think a lot of, and pardon my French here, I think a lot of freaks can really get into.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's why
what I
I'm
was
leaning
referring
more
to.
towards that. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to defer to you, Mike, because I'm always wrong in this
Well,
game.
I also want to mention, I mean freak in a very kind way, because
No,
yeah,
no, you
I'm
meant it
little
in a
freak, too.
derisive way. That's fine.
Yeah.
I meant to offend.
We have 0 points.
You had 0. It's 2-0 right now.
Can we choose both?
Oh yeah, sure, why not?
I think it's Pauly Rob Lucci, personally.
Final
Go
answer?
with Mike.
All right, let's go.
That is incorrect.
No way.
I would have also bet on that.
It was close.
You freaks are letting me down. You got to write more.
Yeah, freaks letting us down.
Pudding Sanji had 196. Pauly Rob Lucci had 180.
You know what it is, you guys? You know what it is? It's all the Zosan fics that have Sanji in an arranged marriage to Pudding, and they tag it. I'm just saying.
Could be.
You were right.
There's definitely a contingent of Pudding Sanji fans. They definitely exist.
Yes, absolutely. But not usually amongst the girlies that are writing the fan fiction.
Ken, what's next?
Here's a weird one for you, Stephen Vero. King and Yamato.
What the fuck?
Versus Kaku and Stussy.
Say Stussy. It's
Stussy. Sorry.
I don't like that pronunciation.
She's
a lot of people do
sussy.
it. Yeah, that's like it. It sounds great.
She was like a succubus, like Sussy. Yeah.
It's okay. I would say sussy.
I mean, that's a new one though too. Sorry, I don't mean to help you.
Steve.
I got to think about all the freaks out there. They like.
I
This
don't.
one's-
leather.
this
I
one's
don't
for the
think they're
freak.
being freaks in a way where they would ship King and Yamato. Like
I don't know.
I'm trying to tap into the subconscious.
Aren't they the
of
same height at least? Like they're
Hey.
at least.
Big.
a fan. Listen, you've got to understand the antis and the pro shipper.
Yeah, but I feel like Kaku wants to just go out for a malt or something. I don't know if he,
And then she eats him afterwards, like a little vampire.
Let's go
or
for a
whatever.
malted. Yes, a malted.
I know, we always trust your instincts, but since we're in a commanding lead, you want to just take a shot. and
So
just say
you think
King
that it
Yamato?
is Yamato and King? Because I just think that they're not writing that. I have a feeling that the girlies are probably going to be like, that's their dad, you know?
Well, Kaido is Yamato's dad.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
they ship Kaido and him together and then do be like, that's their dad.
Oh, I did
Nothing.
not see any Kaido Yamato, thank God. So
Nothing is
Oh,
sacred.
no. I'm saying that people will do the dynamic of everyone in Kaido's crew are collectively Yamato's parents or whatever, and then apply that. But you know what? I'm fighting you. You take the lead. It's okay. We could say it's them.
Wait, what's the final answer?
That worked out for me very well. So
Is it King and Yamato?
King and Yamato is correct.
there you go.
All right, I'll eat my shoe.
That was a close.
Whatever.
That was.
I don't know. Vero's
another-
instincts
Are
have
you
actually
doing
been
this
wrong.
stupid fucking Adam Sandler dance right now?
He is.
Bum
He is.
bit too.
Oh my god.
Bum,
I could- I could- I could-
bitty, bum, bum.
I could switch it to Fiddler. if
Yeah,
you
please,
want,
guys,
I could
watch
do it. If
Fiddler.
I was a rich man.
No, no, no.
All right.
No.
Let's go for another weird one here. Mike and Zach.
Oh, really? We're just turning this into a massacre at this point?
No, well, this one.
I had it set.
This
to
one's
play-
worth 5 points.
Well,
so it's
I
okay.
had it set that you were playing till
Mike's right.
5, so it's 3-0 right now.
So this
Yeah,
could
we
go
can
on
come
for
back.
another hour.
We can
and a
come
half.
back. We got time.
All right,
we
wait.
can come back.
Zach, is
Maybe
my
we should lightning round this too at some point. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm unemployed. We could keep going.
Jabra and Khalifa versus Emu and Sabo.
Yeah.
I want there to be more Emu and Sabos. Like that's what my heart is telling me. That.
You know what? Go with your heart because we're losing, and we might.
All right,
as well
let's go.
lose
Emu and
fast.
Sabo. Let's
That
go.
is incorrect.
Damn.
There was only one single
By the
Emu
way-
and Sabo.
Oh wait, did I write it?
Can you please read it? Not right now. But later.
No, it's
It's probably very not safe for
it was all about like capturing and tormenting and yada yada. And,
I
like,
Oh,
don't
you
Tell
read
me.
it. Okay.
I
You see the tags.
yeah, exactly.
Oh. Never
All
mind.
right.
I don't want to
They
hear it.
make Sabo a little freak ass freak.
They do.
They
Generally, I mean, like, who are we talking about?
the collective fandom is like, this is my leather daddy Dom Sabo, and he's it's crazy.
All right.
Never
You
got
got-
that
you got-
vibe from. Never got that vibe from
No,
Sabo.
not from those bug eyes.
All right, next up, Steve Vero. You
Yes.
have Monkey D. Dragon and Nico. I can't. How do you pronounce Robin's?
Olvia.
Olvia
Olivia.
versus Kuma and Moria.
It's Kuma Moria.
Uma Moria.
Final answer.
Yeah.
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 Can you?
The Kumatorium.
We're just tearing them.
I love it.
I don't get why you team me up with
Gross.
Vero. This is just
No, this is a slaughter fest. As I said at the beginning of this game, I don't know why you expect Mike and I to be like this.
I think we
That's
could
very
come back.
fair.
I do think we
I
could come
should have
back.
split you guys
Yeah.
up. I'm sorry. This is the wrong bracket. But,
Mike, you know who else?
wait, okay. Wait.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Zach and Mike, you got Mihawk and Perona versus Killer and Penguin.
Oh, Killer and Penguin
Trust-
popped into my head first. Even though I know those are top
I
characters.
no,
you
I
would
also think
expect.
it's Killer and Penguin because I don't.
We have
think-
nothing
well,
to lose here, and I mean nothing because our score is 0.
No, we could come back.
You could.
Yeah,
do
okay,
it.
okay,
yeah.
sure.
Killer Penguin, final answer?
Absolutely, obviously.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Yes!
baby.
We're on the board.
We got
What's
one on the
score?
board.
What's the score? 4-1.
4-1. Killer.
Score's not important.
Killer and Penguin had 210 stories. Mihawk and Perona had 159.
I need those Mihawk Perona numbers to go up.
Yeah, seriously.
Come on, people. Let's get right.
It's too straight for people.
I kind of like it though. It's like one of those straight ships where I'm like, yep, that makes sense.
All right.
I don't think it does.
Vero and Steve for the potential win here.
Potential.
Kaku Rob Lucci versus Ace Sanji.
Oh, it's
big
Ace
ones.
Sanji. It's Ace San. I'm in those minds. Yes.
Steve, are you in agreement? Yeah, it's a.
Sure.
They're in
Yeah.
the mines.
Thank you. I'm in
That's
those
not
minds.
fair.
I already knew.
All right, so if we're,
Thank
if
you,
we're playing
though.
to 5, then Steve and Vero have now won. So
Okay, we're done.
Okay.
There's something called the
Congrats, guys.
slaughter rule, and we should have lost.
What are you
the-
talking about, Zach? We got a point on the board.
We did get a
Yeah,
point
you
on the
got
board,
one.
and it
I'm
was
proud
in
of you.
Penguin.
We beat a lot of people's bet spreads.
You got
I
that
will
killer.
tell
That's
you that.
true.
Yeah.
You got that Killer
Yeah.
Penguin.
We
shit
got
going for
Penguin
you.
and Killer somehow was the one that we both knew
And you know,
instinctually.
I would have bet against that one. So you guys.
No,
for
Vero,
you.
you've been wrong a lot too. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, we
Yeah,
have the evidence
I
to
have.
we roll the tape. Yeah, that's how podcasts work.
Delaney rolled a tape of me being wrong.
Being wrong.
And then Delaney splices in, Oi, Delaney here. Vero's never wrong, and they're so beautiful.
God, it's like she's in the room.
I
God.
did a little the Hime laugh.
Anyway,
I ain't doing that nonsense.
So that was the Thunderdome
somehow has
edition.
Thank
a
you,
little.
Wow, what a
Ken.
scoop.
Vero,
That
thank
was
you
fun.
for letting me host that. That was fun.
Yeah, of
Thank you
course,
for
Ken.
doing it.
That was torturous.
I'm so
Yeah,
thank you
sorry.
all. No, it's okay.
I realized,
I had a
you
great
know,
time.
I asked to be put with Steve because just the bonding, but I should have
No,
built a relationship. I should
real
ask you,
couples,
Zach.
real couples bonding is to be on the opposite team.
Opposite team,
and,
yeah, and I would
and really go at it in the
Yes.
bad way, not the good. No,
yeah, no, I'd be like, I'm gonna
Get your head out of there,
eat
Mike.
you alive in a non-weird way.
And that has been Yaoi Thunderdome.
Agreed.
Nothing more romantic has ever been said on this podcast.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you all for coming on the show. As we mentioned, the manga is off, but we have our fan letters recap next week. We also have an SGS, I believe, will be coming at you next week. And we have the Volume 110 on November 4th. And then Anthony Bowling, former ADR director, will be on November 11th. And then I have no idea. So join us every Monday for the One Piece podcast. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're listening this far in, just remember the OTP is Killer and Penguin.
That is true.
My name is Zach. We'll see you next week, everyone. And
OTP.
Steve's here too. Bye.
Yeah, my name is Steve.
Oh, yeah. That's Ken.
Bye.
See ya.
That was Ken. It's true.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Steve Yurko.
And I'm Tara Sands. Now available from Maji Media is our new podcast, 4Kids Flashback. 4Kids is the company who brought you the English dub of Pokemon in the late 90s and so many other shows like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Shaman King, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kirby, the infamous One Piece dub, and so many more.
We'll be talking to the people who worked at 4Kids. Actors, directors, writers, editors, producers, engineers, you get the point. And hopefully get the answers to questions both you and I have about the company.
I actually worked there as a voice actor on some of the shows.
And I was a kid watching the shows and remember way more than Tara does.
And thank God for that. Steve is actually a professional storyboard artist, which gives some really unique insights into anime and animation. Subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts. That's the number 4 Kids Flashback.